All right, guys, Dan Bedandi here, TruthRadioShow.com. It is May 28th now, after midnight here, May 28th of 2018. And I just want to talk about probably the most biggest threat to humanity, not just the United States of America, but this entire planet right now. And right now, the most dangerous person on this planet is George Soros. If you don't know who George Soros is, he's an American Hungarian investor, businessman, philanthropist, political activist, and author. And Soros is one of the world's most successful investors. Hey, what's up, Sean? And so George Soros, born August 12, 1930, so he's been around a while, 87 years old. The guy's worth $8 billion right now and growing. Basically what George Soros does, okay, he's, again, a political, yeah, exactly. George Soros should be in jail. Okay, this guy is the most, let me put it this way. Even though he hasn't personally killed people, okay, George Soros is more dangerous than Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin put together. Plain and simple. And yeah, he's part of the Rothschild banking cartel and all that. And this guy is the kingpin of the Illuminati. He sits on the Council of 13. The committee, the Council of 13, and he's, you don't get higher than that, okay? This guy is at the echelon of the Illuminati. Now, people say, well, we don't believe in Illuminati because you're a dumbass, you don't know history. So if you don't believe in Illuminati, you don't know history, plain and simple. And so I'm not even going to get there with people, trolling me or the Illuminati doesn't. Well, first of all, you don't know history if you believe that. So I'm going to leave it at that. But George Soros, this guy is the kingpin of the New World Order. I don't know how many times you can find it all in video. Word from his own mouth, him calling for a New World Order. I don't know how many people say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory, he's never said that. Just like George Bush has never said that. Then he admitted, oh, he might have said it once. When you can find tons of video of him saying it many times. I think he said it like 100-something times during his presidency. I don't know, it was ridiculous. But George Soros, this guy, and when the crooks, his sons take over. Yeah, I got a list of his kids here. He's got Alexander Soros, Jonathan Soros, Andrea Soros, Robert Soros, and Gregory Soros. So he's got 5 spawns of Satan that are walking this earth right now. And these people are very dangerous, okay, the Soros family, especially I think his oldest son, Alexander. But George Soros, this man should be at the end of a rope. I hate to say that. I don't call for the death of anybody, but the death he's responsible for, the humanity that he's destroyed, okay, it'll be no less better than him being at the end of the rope. I don't say that about anybody, but this man has brought evil and death upon his planet. And he's, I can't describe with words how bad this guy is. Yeah, exactly. You know what Putin would do to George Soros? Oh, man, I would love to see that. That'd be better than any UFC event, any better than WrestleMania. Hand George Soros over to Putin. Vladimir Putin, Russia's president there. So, and yeah, they're all responsible for, exactly. Yeah, crappy life, exactly. And my life ain't crappy per se. It's just like, it bothers me, okay? It bothers me when people run around killing people, when people run around purposely trying to distort everything that God made for us. It bothers me when people run around and push in global government, which is global tyranny, and they call this peace. Now, George Soros, he funds Black Lives Matter. It's up, Ron. He funds Black Lives Matter, all these so-called political groups, funding abortion, funding all this divide. He funds the LGBT at the top. And I'm not bashing gays before anybody jumps down my throat. I'm bashing the LGBT, the people who run the LGBT, the creators of the LGBT were occultists. Okay, they are not atheists, they are not Christians, they are occultists. There's a reason why they use the rainbow to smack God in the face. That's derogatory. It's old Kabbalah, okay, which is ancient Satanism, the dark side of it. And the globalists want depopulation, you're right, and that's what George Soros is about. Now, what he's doing, because, again, this has been confirmed, okay, by my 2 buddies in the Illuminati, they were former Illuminati, Dr. Marquise and William Schnoblin. Both of them told me that Donald Trump was not part of the agenda. I got told back in 2006 or 7, I got laid out the whole manifesto. I was told 2008, Barack Obama's going to win, and he's going to win again for a second term. Then after Obama, they're going to swing the pendulum back over to the right side, which would be Jeb Bush, and he's going to be running against Hillary Clinton. I got told this years before, like about a decade or more, over a decade, I should say, over a decade before this actually happened. So what it came to be was Hillary Clinton and Jeb Bush took right out of the gate. And they were talking about Mike Huckabee and all these other people, but Jeb Bush was being groomed to be president. Now, along came Donald Trump. Nobody took him serious. The Illuminati fell asleep at the wheel, if you want to put it that way. Nobody took him serious, whatever. So anyway, he ended up knocking Jeb Bush out. When Jeb Bush got knocked out, okay, they crapped their pants, okay? The globalists crapped their pants when Jeb Bush he had no choice to get out of the race. Because it was supposed to be, the Republican nomination was going to pick Jeb Bush to be the front runner against Hillary Clinton. That was the plan, okay? And Jeb Bush was going to win. And so now you have this situation, they just derailed our plan. So our pick for president, Jeb Bush, has been derailed. So now plan B would be Hillary Clinton, because they always pick 1 and 2, just in case anything happens to that first person they pick. They got plan B, which is just as evil. So next plot would be, all right, we have to go to plan B to put Hillary in the White House. And now the Illuminati don't necessarily like women in charge. And people talk about, racism and all that. No. Sexism. Okay, we're not the sexists, they are. Okay, they hate having a woman in charge, even though they have some women in charge here and there, depending on criteria and all that. But the country was crying for a woman president too, so they like, all right, plan B, let's do this. Let's put Hillary in, and they even rigged the elections. Homeland Security got caught red-handed trying to rig the elections, and I don't know how that quickly got forgotten about. It was all over the media, and to rig the election for Hillary Clinton. Now, Hillary Clinton, she won a popular vote. No, she did not win a popular vote. She used on record now, over 5 million illegal votes. That puts Donald Trump as the winner on the popular vote. So she did not win the presidency by the popular vote, by popular vote. She lost. So this derailed the entire Illuminati's plans. They fell asleep at the wheel, if you want to put it this way. Now they're scared crap. And I'm not saying Trump's an angel or anything like that. Trump was not part of that plan. And Trump is, yes, he's a Christian now. At first I didn't buy it, I didn't believe it, but I got told by credible sources from people who know him personally that he did convert to Christianity. And he showed that, plain and simple, during his inauguration address. I mean, you don't have a fake person of God that come up to the entire world to state this stuff. You know what I mean? And in his inauguration address, I mean, I've never heard that talk in my life. Never. Never any president that's ever been alive since Reagan, Carter before him, I believe it was, and all the presidents. I never heard any president talk like that. Talk about God, which Reagan did, I grant that. But Reagan was more focused on international affairs. Now, when Trump came out talking about God and we the people, founder father type stuff, I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? It surprised the hell out of me. So it threw off George Soros' big plan. Now they have continuity plans for everything, and they have plan A, B, C, D, all the way to double F, double Z, with triple Z, whatever, however you want to put it. So now, to cause this divide, now people say the cops shooting the blacks, whatever. No, this has been going on before, when Obama was in, okay, before Trump was even taken serious. The same thing with the national anthem stuff. It was done by design. Okay, done by design to divide the country. And people like George Soros, especially George Soros, okay, and you got other billionaires too behind us too, but George Soros backed all this stuff. He's backing the whole national anthem bullshit, taking a knee and all that stuff. He's behind that. The thing is, these people at the top, they know it's nothing to do with oppression against blacks. And they want you to believe, the black oppression, black slavery. We haven't had slavery in this country for hundreds of years. What the hell are you even talking about? You know what I mean? And, I feel bad, but, if you want to get into people who've been oppressed more, it was the Native American Indians. Nobody in this country has been more oppressed than them. But you don't see them raising up and burning towns down. And I'm not picking on anybody here. You know what I mean? And real black people that know this stuff, okay, don't go around doing this stuff. And this small percentage of leaders, they claim to be leaders for the black movement, they're not leaders at all. And any person, any common sense man or woman that's a black person will tell you this. These people do not talk for us. Regular black people are very great people, peaceful, okay, very kind. I got some of my best friends are black I grew up with. Some in their professional wrestling too, I trust with my life. And, you know what I mean, I got friends of all races and all that. It's nothing but a color. But George Soros and all that, they like to divide people to make it think it's all about color, the black people are the enemies, the white people are the enemies, the Spanish people, all that. No, they are the enemies. The New World Order is the enemy. They are dividing us all, and it's working very well. I mean, look at all the streets, the media. I mean, the media is doing the greatest job for George Soros, promoting us as racial divide. And what I was talking about the other day, you'll have 100, just say 100 people died today by a gunshot, right? 100 people killed. They'll, you know, and it goes into the local media all over the country. But the national media, they'll skim through all the news. Okay, let's look for that one incident that was a black guy killed by a white person. And if it's somewhat controversial, boom, all right, let's put this on a national stage. Boom, next day you got riots all over the place. You got people, black and whites going head to head. Over what? Over a lie? You know what I mean? And the whole thing with Ferguson and all that, that was over a lie. The kid was a thug. Now, the real one was Michael Garner in New York City. The poor guy was selling cigarettes, and a damn scumbag detective jumps on his back and puts him in a rear-naked chokehold. Then he tried to say, no, it's just a regular restraint. No, I take MMA. That was a rear-naked chokehold. You got to kill somebody doing that, which he killed Michael Brown, saying he was resisting the guys like this. Like, they took him down and killed the guy. Now, that was justified to protest against. But you have George Soros and these people funding all this stuff to cause a racial divide. And they won't go after, that's why the Michael Garner thing wasn't that much of a big issue. It was more the thugs that got shot made a big issue. So you have people out there defending thugs more than real people who, you know, good people like Michael Garner, who was killed by these criminals, you know what I mean? And we know there's a police state, and George Soros is behind that too. He's behind, they put low IQs in the police, I'm sorry. They take these people with low IQs and pump them up with steroids and all that, and they'll go kill their own mother if they have to, just to get a raise a rank. You know what I mean? And that's how they are. They're doing this all over the country. And you got real police officers who not only fighting crime, but they're battling against people in their own department. And it's making their lives on bad, because they have to go out and risk their lives too. But all this stuff going on, all of it, it's so much. It really is. I'm not going to get into everything. What's up, Daniel? I'm not going to get into all of it, all the stuff going on, the racial divide, the political divide. And even in the damn Democratic Party, there's a division. Okay, there's real liberals, good, honest Democrats. Then you get the progressive left who are just conglomerating and destroying it. They're taking over the damn Democratic Party. And then you have the Republican Party. You got two sides of that too now. You got people, good Republicans, which are called the far right, you know what I mean? But the establishment Republicans are just as evil and greedy as the progressive left. They both work on the same damn team. So you got two parties that have been hijacked by globalists. You got the Democratic and Republican Party that have been hijacked by the globalists. And now Trump's not even, here's how you know Trump is legit. Because George Soros, I've ever seen a president get attacked by everybody. I've seen the president, when Obama was in, of course, all the right attacked him. When Bush was in, all the left attacked him. Never both sides. They're in the globalists. The globalists always love these guys. So you got Donald Trump come along. The globalists hate him. The Democrats hate him. The Republicans hate him. So that tells you he's doing his job and he's effective in a good way. And especially when you got globalists like George Soros coming out, doing everything in their power, spending unlimited money, funding protesters. I mean, they've been caught red-handed on Craigslist, hiring people up to $15 an hour or better to go out and protest. And they pay you and also pay you bail if you get arrested. And people are running rampant through the streets doing this stuff. And sure, you got some real protesters out there who are not part of George Soros' payroll. Not everybody's on his payroll. These people are just batshit crazy and confused. And so they do this stuff anyway, just for the fun of it. And because they think it's the right thing to do. So, but you do have people on the Soros payroll. These activist leaders like the not the regular people in Black Lives Matter. I'm talking about the people who run Black Lives Matter. It's been heavily infiltrated. It started off, Black Lives Matter, when it first came out, it was a group of regular people who started this organization. And rightfully so, because they were sick and tired of the police state. And we know the police state is, everybody's affected by it, not just black people. Because one year, more whites were killed by cops than blacks, and the next year it was blacks more killed than Hispanics and all that. So it's not just the blacks. So they hijacked the movement, which was a good movement at first, like the Occupy movement was a good movement at first. Soros groups there hijacked them and took them over and turned them into complete terrorists, most of them. Now you have the branches off it now, like Antifa and all that, that go around purposely to cause riots, go around purposely to cause havoc, gang up on people, which half of them, most of them actually, are a bunch of cowards. They couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag, and they put masks on to make them feel important. Hey, what's up, Affy? What's going on, brother? So, these race groups out there. Then you have, of course, the KKK, pathetic losers. They've been around for a while. And guess who started them? It was the far left that created the KKK. The same one that helped create the Black Panthers, the same group that helped create all the racial organizations out there. And they were the same ones who funded all this stuff, okay? They created it and funded it, and they still do to this day. And now they're trying to say, the KKK is a right-sided, right... No, most of the people in the KKK believe the right way, like the Republican way, but it was created by the Democratic Party. But the thing is, here's where George Washington comes into this, okay? If people have only listened to George Washington, and it baffles me, right? If people listen to two people on this planet, we wouldn't be in this crap today. Jesus Christ and George Washington. Okay, if Americans were to listen to these two people, we wouldn't be anything in this crap today. I wouldn't have to be spending my time on this video right now warning you about stuff, telling you about stuff. I'd be spending time video. I would actually have to throw the damn phone away. I can't stand this thing. But when I'm all done, when I'm retired, man, I'm throwing all my computers, all that stuff in the garbage, plain and simple. But that's not going to be until I'm dead, because this New World Order is going to be a heavy fight. But anyway, what I was saying, I forgot, lost my train of thought. But anyway, these people spend millions of dollars to do this stuff. Okay, they get into all the political organizations, divide people, get into the parties themselves, divide the parties, and they get into the mainstream religions, get into it, divide it. What they did was, over the years with the religion and the politics, in every country, they got into the religions, divided them, spawned them out, divided that and that and that. The best way I could possibly, this is why Jesus always talked in parables. And that's where I was at. Jesus and George Washington. Now, if people listened to George Washington and Jesus Christ, we wouldn't be in this mess today. Now, George Washington warned us about this. He said, what's to say about bullshit? You sound like a what? I don't know what the hell you just said. A liberal desperately clinging to your InfoWars bullshit. No, it's not InfoWars bullshit. It's been around before InfoWars. Even before I even knew about InfoWars, I was on the radio talking about the stuff, so I don't even want to hear that. But anyway, George Washington warned us, and you could, Michael, if you don't believe, you could go look at the Library of Congress. George Washington warned us, do not get involved with political parties, because he's seen how, which today is UK, okay, the United Kingdom and Britain, how they set up major party systems, the globalists, the bankers, and to divide the people. And George Washington warned us of that. He said, stay the hell away from political parties. He said also, do not join alliances with other nations, because they'll come in and bring us down. This is all in his farewell address alone. I mean, he's got tons of, I read a lot of his books, his stuff like that. It's like amazing, like what the schools should be teaching. But if people would only listen to George Washington, we wouldn't be in this mess today. Sure, back then they had disagreements. The politicians did. But at the end of the day, they came to an agreement under the Constitution. They created a perfect document. Nobody in there was perfect at the time, but they created a perfect document called the Constitution. Just like God created a perfect system called the Ten Commandments. Now, if everybody abided by the Ten Commandments and abided by the first 10 Bill of Rights, we'd be in a perfect society right now. Perfect society. There wouldn't be none of this crap going on today. But, nobody wants to listen to Jesus either when he warned us about stuff like this. He warned us about things that are coming in the future. it's taken the 1770. Yeah, and George Washington warned us, so stay away from this stuff. Okay, stay away from bankers. I mean, I don't know how many founding fathers warned us about a centralized banking system. And people going, the whole Federal Reserve thing, it's not federal at all. It's an international offshore banking system that's monetarily taken over this country, the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, by George Soros, people like him, that purposely get into countries to divide it. They divide it politically, religiously, monetarily, and long before there was, two banks, the Federal Reserve and the Bank of the United States of America, and boom, the Bank of the United States of America goes down. FDR, everybody credits President FDR as this great person, the leader of the Industrial Revolution. But they don't know that he's pushed executive orders that made headline news all over the country. You had to turn your gold in because he gave it all to the Federal Reserve. If anybody out there owned gold, if you didn't turn it in, you would be arrested by the federal government because FDR turned it over to the Federal Reserve. Gave complete control and power to the Federal Reserve, and in 1933, that was they really put the hammer down, and that was it. That's why he put that seal on the back of the dollar bill. There's a nice story behind that. You need to hear that. Very interesting. This is all backed by real documents and books from the Founding Fathers and all that, and from the Library of Congress has all these records. So you have these globalists that came in and infiltrated this country on every level. Now today we're so entrenched with the globalism, it's sickening. I mean, you have people going out there rallying for women's rights when women already had rights. They had rights for God knows how long in this country. Going out there rallying, blacks are being oppressed. Blacks haven't been oppressed since the 1900s. Where the hell are people getting this stuff from? I know many blacks that make 10 times more money than me. So how the hell are they being oppressed? I grew up in Section 8 housing, low-income housing, for people who know what that is, with my family. I don't know where my white privilege is because I'm driving a 2006 car right now. So where's my white privilege? You know what I mean? There ain't no white privilege. It's all mantra. It's all garbage by George Soros' people, his think tanks that come up with all this stuff you hear on TV, those mindless mantra marches when people marching, those mantras that we're repeating out, reciting, all that's thought up and wasn't from somebody's imagination. George Soros' think tank. Yeah, Jekyll Island. I got that, The Creature of Jekyll Island by Michael Murphy, I think it was Michael Murphy. No, G. Edward Griffin. I got that book. I haven't read it in a long time. And that's an awesome book, The Creature of Jekyll Island. And that's by G. Edward Griffin. Awesome book if you want to learn about the whole Federal Reserve takeover. And but this country is so divided now. They divide it in schools now. They got teachers shooting with a fake gun, of course. Or the thing is a picture of Donald Trump screaming out with their rants about Donald Trump, screaming out how guns are bad. And the number one thing, okay, this is why I bring up guns all the time. The number one thing, okay, this has been confirmed by my friends who were in the Illuminati, okay. The number one thing that the globalists hate, which is a set of three, God, guns, and the Constitution. Those are the three major roadblocks of a New World Order. God, guns, and the Constitution. And if you notice, all three of them are constantly under assault. And tell me I'm lying, because, I can dig up millions, not thousands, millions of articles over the years that could prove you're wrong. Constantly, we have even federal government documents attacking, saying Christians, conservatives, gun owners, and all that are terrorists, worse than Al-Qaeda. That's Operation Endgame by Homeland Security and FBI's Project Megiddo. You can look this up right on the FBI's website. They use the Southern Poverty Law Center, known as SPLC, that give them all the data, and it's the Southern Poverty Law Center are the biggest terrorists themselves. They do little data on people, and the FBI uses that data for certain things. So what they do is go out and classify as people who preach against the New World Order as terrorists, people who preach biblical prophecy as terrorists. What fingers in the shape of guns? All right, I don't know what the hell you mean. But anyway, they go around preaching all these people are bad. You know what I mean? And when these people is what made this country. Regardless of who you believe in as a God, what made this country is God, guns, and the Constitution. Plain and simple. That's not debatable. That's not even close to being debated. This country was founded on those three principles right there. And, people say, they don't know history. That's the problem. When they try to deny any one of those three, they don't know history because this country is built on God, guns, and the Constitution. And they're trying to erase that. And the UN's come out so many times saying, with that small arms treaty in New York City, I think that building should, if I was president of the United States right now, I would go to the United Nations building and say, listen, you got 1 week to pack your tents up and get the hell out of my country, plain and simple. And I would crush that damn disgusting statue they got in New York with the gun tied into a knot, the barrel. You notice how they have a statue too, weapons turned into a plowshare? That's a biblical reference right there because the occultists, they use biblical stuff too. They don't tell the lower levels that. That's what I explained earlier. People like George Soros, these people are pure Luciferians. They're not atheists. They're not Christians. These people believe in Lucifer. That's right, Lucifer, the devil, Beelzebub, whatever you want to call him. They believe in him as God. The whole purpose of a New World Order is to bring in their way of a perfect utopia, their perfect system, what they call perfect, what they call peace is actually war, what they call freedom is actually slavery. And that's why they have all the mainstream media, the mainstream religions, all conforming to the Pope's ecumenical movement that's funded by people like Soros, blessed by the United Nations as an official one world religion. All this is all tied together, all of it. Yeah, that 6th statue, man, I would love to crush that damn thing. That and the Georgia Guidestones, the New World Order 10 Commandments. If I was president, I would take a bulldozer and go down there or just C4 the damn thing myself. You know what I mean? It's disgusting. Those two mock their agenda, what they want to do here. Openly state what they want to do here. And the UN all the time calls for weapons ban. They've said relentlessly that the last obstacle of the New World Order is the United States people. Because they refuse to give up their guns, and most people, regardless of the mantra today, most people still believe in God, which they hate because the whole thing with God, people understand God plays a huge role in this country, a huge role. And again, whatever you believe, I respect that, and I'm not going to force my thinking down your throat. And whatever you believe or whatever religion you follow, God bless you. You know what I mean? But God's played a huge role in this country. It's not a coincidence, and God we trust is everywhere. And I'm not even going to get into all that. And how the first 121 colleges were all formed on Christian principles in this country. Taught the Bible in schools up into the late 1800s when the liberals started coming in and taking over. They're pushing evolution crap. That's all to do with it. Even God was taught in most of the country up into when I was in school. And young kid in school in the late 1980s, I remember saying a prayer in school, and taking a moment's silence, and people prayed and did the Pledge of Allegiance. People had morals back then. So it was systematically designed to rip that stuff out of schools today. And by people like George Soros and his think tanks. The thing is, it's not just Soros that comes up with this. He sits on this throne, if you will, He's got people around him, very intelligent, maniacal people. They're called think tanks, What he does is these people work day and night, and when they're resting, they got other people working, and when they're resting, they got other people working. They work day and night to come up with plots, plans, organizations to emphatically destroy everything that made this country together. So if you want to, this is why Jesus talked in parables. So I'm going to use a parable or example here. I don't know if I got a piece around here, but if you take a rope, right? You don't understand, just take a rappelling rope, right? A rappelling rope or any rope at that, right? If you notice, it's made out of thousands of strands of string to make that strong rope. Now, each strand would snap on its own, easily. But all those strands stranded together to make that rope, it's almost impenetrable. So what the elite did was that when they came here in America, they tried to pop that rope, break it. And they couldn't do that, obviously. It was too strong in this country. So what they did was they infiltrated it. They started taking each strand. You could do this with a rope, too. You take each strand apart, and all of a sudden, you can stop breaking each strand, and all of a sudden, the rope's broken in half. And so that's what they did. They got into each one, started infiltrating it, corrupting it from within, which does the string breaking. Now what they did was they destroyed all the strings. Now they're forging a new rope with this pure white rope that this country was made out of. They broke it all. Now they're forging a new rope made of all black darkness and forging it together as a new world order. All the religions into one, all the politics into one, all the everything into one. You know what I mean? A global government, global economy, global religion. I mean, it's all here and now. They're ready to push it at any moment, and they're going to drop the hammer. As soon as they get the chance, they're dropping the hammer. But here's the thing people need to really, really pay attention, okay? Again, it was confirmed by the Illuminati people I know, okay, that they failed. They fell asleep at the wheel. They didn't expect Trump to win. Trump derailed the whole system because Hillary was supposed to be Jeb Bush, but Hillary, which is the same agenda as Jeb, they were going to push the global New World Order, plain and simple. But the thing is, what people need to understand, okay, they know, okay, the Illuminati know, and I'm not talking about the little small religions and cults like Wicca and New Age and all that garbage. All that's lower level stuff. Those people, to the Illuminati, they're dumbasses, okay? The elite at the top know the Bible, okay? They know it better than most pastors do. And sure, they serve Lucifer, but they believe in the Bible 99%, except for the 0.1% that they believe that Satan's going to overthrow God. And Lucifer, Satan, Beelzebub, whatever you call him, he's going to overthrow God. That's what they believe. That's why they're setting up the perfect New World Order to do everything they have to do to fulfill their side of prophecy, to bring forth the Antichrist, which is the world chancellor by the UN and the Club of Rome. And people like George Soros funds this operations, funds all the divide, because the thing is here, they don't care about our money. People say, oh, they follow the money trail. No, you don't follow the money trail. It only gets you to a certain point. Following the money trail only gets you to a certain point, then you get lost again because it's a giant pit of sludge. Okay, if you want to follow right to the root of all problems, you go beyond the money trail, beyond the political trail, it's the spiritual trail. Each and every time you're going to find the exact truth that goes far deeper than a money trail could ever dream of, far deeper than a political trail could ever dream of. So when you go down that rabbit hole, the spiritual trail will take you to the bottom of the rabbit hole, or the bottom of the abyss, whatever you want to call it. And people like George Soros, who are funding this whole operation to create all this diversion, divide, just confuse the hell out of everybody, all this stuff. And I could be here for days telling you everything, like all the branches, what they do, how they're connected with this one. And it's very complicated. It's like a giant million-piece puzzle. You open the box, there's no picture on that box. You empty that puzzle out on the table. You're like, oh, man, God, where did I begin? So you understand you got to put the framework together. Okay, that's the first thing, you're putting the puzzle together. And then you put the framework, then you start putting pieces together. Hopefully you can find pieces. And when you start figuring out, all right, what the hell does this got to do with anything, then when a puzzle gets put together slowly, okay, you start understanding what the picture is about. Then when you get the puzzle complete, you know what it is. See, regular people out there, they see things from a maze, like you're inside of a corn maze. They don't know which way they're going, which way is what. They have to guess. But when you become aware of things, you start seeing things from a bird's eye view. You can sit there and say, oh, I know exactly where this is going to go. I can see it with my own eyes. And so when people, that's why I encourage people to wake up. It's very complicated, really is. It's extremely complicated. It took me 20 years to learn all this stuff. And most of it's from inspiration from God. And it's a whole new story altogether. And what's this? Soros and company needs to stop. And the world is in a bad place. Spread information, educate the general public. Yeah, and that's exactly, you're right, Jackie, I hope I pronounced your name right. Jackie, you're right about that. And George Soros and his whole family, they need to go to jail, plain and simple. Hand them over to Russia, like Richard said, that'd be great. Putin would, people can say what they want about Putin, but if George Soros ever got into the hands of Putin, George Soros wouldn't see the light of day, which would be a good thing. Because these people are dark and evil. That's why they live to be able. People say, why does evil people live a long life? You know, why did, like, David Rockefeller lived to his, 90s, whatever the hell he was. George Soros is still kicking very well today, 87 years old. Why do people live that long, evil people, and good people die young? Well, you need to understand something, okay? It's not God punishing us, okay? You need to understand this, because he lets big evil people like George Soros live a very long life for a reason, hoping that they could turn from the evil ways as one, or two, because this life here is the last life he's going to have. He's going to be suffering eternity in the lake of fire with his god Lucifer one day. They're all going to be suffering in the lake of fire. So that's why he allows bad people to live a very long time. Again, hopefully they could change them, and he knows that if they don't change, guess where they're going? Same place where Hitler and all these other people went. Boop. You know what I mean? So that's why bad people live a very long life. And so, yeah, 5D chess, exactly right, Richard. And, yeah, we need to educate people. You're right, Jackie. We need to educate people, keep doing it, about George Soros. And it's spreading. It's becoming very knowledgeable now. Years ago, people were like, who the hell is George Soros? Now half the world knows about George Soros. Half the world can't stand George Soros. People are waking up by the day. And what they do is they drive people by fear. And they call us the fearmongers. Because what I do, it's like, yeah, I tell you the cold, hard facts. I don't sugarcoat nothing. I don't blow smoke up anybody's butt. I don't soothsay nothing. Okay, I tell you exactly how it is, the way it is. Hey, if it scares you, it offends you, hey, you're an adult, deal with it, plain and simple. Because it scared the hell out of me. When I first learned, I'm not going to lie, it scared the hell out of me until I learned the overall goal. I learned that this is all a divine plan. Now, when I was saying about the Illuminati, how they follow the Bible. But the thing is, they try to force things before their time. Because all these things happen according to God's timing. They know this, it pisses them off. They're constantly trying to push a new world order. They know they're going to get it. And it's going to be 3.5 years until they get their asses kicked. So they know they're going to get it. Okay, but the thing is, they try to push it ahead of time to defy God. And it's not a coincidence that all these organizations, okay, use biblical symbolism. And you got to understand, everything in the occult, the high levels of the occult, the Illuminati, which is, you can't get higher than that in the world, the occult. And George Soros is funding all the divide and con. Yeah, exactly, he is, Richard, you're right. So the Illuminati, they do everything purposely. That's a mirror image too of God. When I was saying earlier about the LGBT, now again, I'm not condemning people who are gay. Because me looking at a woman lustfully is a sin too. So who am I to throw stones in a glass house? You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So the people at the top of the LGBT, who created the LGBT, come up with the marketing for the LGBT, okay? The rainbow, okay, which is also the Kabbalah colors as well. But the rainbow, why they chose the rainbow for? Take this, and this is exactly why they chose it. Because again, everything in the occult is mirror image to what God does. So God flooded the earth because of corruption in sexuality, corruption in the DNA and genome. They tried to destroy the bloodline of Adam, his genealogy. With the fallen angels and the bloodline of Cain, they tried to destroy and erase the bloodline of Adam. So Mary would never come along and Jesus could never be born. Satan knew that thousands of years ago. So God flooded the earth to kill most of them, not all of them, most of them off, 98% of them. And we call them Nephilim and everything. And the Raphaim, I think that's the other Hebrew name for them too. But the Watchers and the fallen ones. So when you stutter, I smile. Yeah. But anyway, they just, God, after he flooded the earth, he made a rainbow as a covenant, a symbol to the whole earth. Listen, I'm not going to destroy the earth again by flood. And he made that promise, and that covenant on the earth was the rainbow. And it was because of sexual corruption and DNA modification, all that stuff, all that happened back then. Nothing going on today is nothing new. It's all happened before. Except we got technology, and they had technology back then too. That's a whole new story altogether. But why they chose the rainbow for? Because they know the fallen angels taught man. If you read the book of Enoch, he tells you the exact angel's name who taught man how to lay with each other. Men never have thought of that, you know what I mean? And so to do that, okay, because again, it's about corrupting the DNA, the genome, to destroy God's people, his bloodline, even though Jesus has already been born and he's coming back. But they used the rainbow out of mockery, because again, the rainbow was God's symbol to the earth that he would never destroy it again. So they used the rainbow to mock that event, mock that what have happened, you know what I mean? To say, all right, we're going to push sexual immorality, sexual corruption. And again, I'm not judging people who are gay. God bless you. I got friends who are gay. And you know what? As long as they don't bother me with it, I don't care. You know what I mean? It's that deal with God. And like I said earlier, me looking at a girl walking down half the street half naked lustfully is a sin too. So I can't judge anybody. You know what I mean? But yeah, as the day, you're right, Richard, right up will happen again. Yeah, and because Jesus says, as the days of Noah, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man. He said in these times, it would be like the days of Noah, and you're seeing that. And what this has to do with George Soros, again, you're going to go right back to Soros, because George Soros and people like him fund this stuff, okay? They purposely do this to cause all this disinformation in the lower ranks and everything, in the public and the masses, to kill people, not only spiritually, but physically as well, with their world depopulation plans, their Agenda 21, 2030. And there's the other thing people say, well, it's not Agenda 21 no more, it's Agenda 2030. Agenda 2030 is still the 21st century. It's still Agenda 21. So that's why I still call it Agenda 21. It's on the UN's website. It's Agenda 21 as well. Even though the thing is, they have plans to institute all this by 2030. But it's Agenda 21 because it's the agenda of the 21st century. That's what they want to do for the 21st century. World depopulation, it's vastly disgusting how many people that kill them today and want to kill off by that time. And through all the damn fluoride, vaccines and everything, just the food that poisoning and GMOs and everything, and the air and everything, it's all that's related. But again, go back to George Soros, people like him are responsible for all this. And George Soros, these people that work on him, again, they're called think tanks. Okay, these think tanks hired by him get paid top dollar. They come up to Soros, hey, listen, I got a plan. See that new movement that popped up, the Occupy movement? Yeah. I got a plan. I'm going to put some people in there, and we're going to take it over. Here's the money. Here you go. Come along. Oh, I got a plan. The Black Lives Matter. It's kind of out of control. We took it over, but you know what? We need somebody a little more violent. How about we create a group called Antifa? They call ourselves anti-fascists, even though they're supporting fascism, and they don't even know it. So they'll inspire a bunch of these lefties, these dingbat far lefts, to go out and cause violence, and we'll pay for that. And we'll pay them to get out of jail just to cause problems in this country, to try to overthrow Trump. Oh, here you go. Here's the money for that. You know what I mean? So they constantly come up with ways of, even now as we speak, somebody's thinking of a way to stop something. You know what I mean? They're attacking alternative media now, all of us. My YouTube channel's got 2 community guideline strikes. I got struck 2 months ago. I got a community guideline strike for a video I uploaded 6 years ago. 6 years ago, it's been on a channel for 6 years. Now, 3 months ago, they decided to give me a copyright, community guideline strike for it. And there was nothing in that video that violated any of that. And I got a second one from a Sandy Hook video where it had nothing to do with attacking nobody. It was just reporting on Sandy Hook. That's it. And so, they're going after all the independent media. And the thing is, when they created this social media, okay, it was people like Soros who funded the operation, gave people like Mark Zuckerberg money to stop these social media sites, because what these are is Central Intelligence Agency networks. So the CIA, the NSA, as I'm speaking now, they got my facial recognition, my retinal scan, all that stuff. They got it all in the database. They got everything I'm saying in the database, your comments in the database. They are watching us. That's what the system was created for. And so they know we started using that against themselves. So we're actually using their own weapon against them. So what they're doing now is they're trying to shut us down. They're rigorously attacking InfoWars, rigorously attacking Drudge Report. People like me, I'm not as big as InfoWars or nothing, but they're attacking people like us. You know what I mean? People like Richie from Boston. He had a monopoly on free speech. You're right, and they want to attack free speech, and that's what they're doing. And they don't want. The thing is, here's the thing too. YouTube, they'll go after your videos, right? But it's okay for Snoop Dogg to put up a video of him shooting the president. Okay for these other rappers to put out, oh, F the president, blah, 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 I'm going to kill him. They'll leave that up, but nothing will be said about that. But yeah, you talk anything about truth, even though you're not threatening nobody, they'll do everything they can to track you down and shut you down. Yeah, they're tracking it all, that's for sure. And that's what the whole social media thing was designed for, funded by Soros. And everything I'm saying is all to do with Soros and other people like him. It's not just Soros, there's other people. And Michael Bloomberg, people play a big role in this too. The guy who runs Media Matters, there's so many of these people that are involved with this. The Rockefellers especially, the Warburgs, all these other people in the top elite, they're all involved with the stuff. And they work together. And here's the other thing, too, what they do. A lot of them fight with each other because one thing evil, they can only cooperate with each other for so long. You know, I'm talking about the minions, not the people at the top or the Luciferian top. The minions, okay, they only could cooperate for so long. Only as the status quo is good for each other. But once that status quo is gone, they'll stab each other in the throat. That's why they fail constantly. That's why this whole anti-gun movement right now is failing. You know, the whole, they thought David Hogg was going to be the savior of the anti-gun movement. That Emma Gonzalez was going to be the savior of the anti-gun movement. But when, again, when evil, they can't keep a straight story, and they put their own foot in their mouth, and they fight amongst each other and contradict each other. That's how they work. So you have David Hogg, we need to rip this country of the Second Amendment, but complains because his rights were being violated because he couldn't have a backpack at one of the rallies. My rights are being violated. Now you're concerned about rights. You're just sitting there attacking the most important right, the Second Amendment, that protects the rest of them, but now you're concerned about rights. Now you're concerned about free speech. Now you're concerned about having that backpack with your privacy rights. Now you're concerned about it. You know what I mean? And then when they say, David Hogg, I was at home when it happened and I rode my bike to the school. Oh, wait a minute, you just said a little while ago that you heard the gunshots in the classroom. You know what I mean? And that's how evil it is. And what they do, too, is even in the parties, okay, the Democratic parties, the Republican parties, they have people running for office. They will love to stab. They do. They stab each other in the back, insult each other, try to dethrone each other. But when it's all said and done, they get told you're going to support that person. Look at Bernie Sanders. Everybody's like, oh, he's the savior of the Democratic Party. Hillary Clinton clearly screwed him out of the... Clearly. I mean, it's undebatable. And the Democratic Party said, we picked the nomination, not the voters. They openly said that. And I don't know why the hell the people did not wake up from that. When they said, we picked the winner. The voters don't count. We picked the nomination for the party. The DNC said that on record. And they picked Hillary Clinton. And Bernie Sanders derailed her all over the country. Here in Rhode Island, they had 15,000 supporters compared to her at 300. And he won actually the votes here in Rhode Island. But the electoral, whatever they are, not the electoral votes, the other votes here in Rhode Island, and they still picked overall Hillary Clinton. But the thing is, Bernie Sanders, instead of saying, hey, you know, knowing he got screwed out of the race, knowing that he just got bent over backwards, you know what I mean? So instead of him coming on and say, hey, people, that girl's a witch, she screwed me, blah, 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 even though he's, you know, exposing the stuff while he was running against her. So when he lost, okay, he should have came out full steam. I'm going independent now. I'm going to take her out if he was legit. But he didn't do that. What did he do? He supported and fully endorsed Hillary Clinton, the very person that he acknowledged that screwed him. Because he refused to give any credit to Trump. Refused. And the thing is, that's how the frauds these people are. Bernie Sanders, he's a fraud, okay? George Soros funds these people, and again, most of the time they can't keep these people in line. They'll come out and attack each other rigorously, no doubt. But, oh yeah, Tommy Robinson, I want to get into that too. But they'll attack each other relentlessly, but in the end, they have to cave in or they end up, you know what I mean, they end up going. So George Soros, yes, very responsible for this and attacking free speech like you see in the UK. Tommy Robinson, jail for reporting about the grooming of rape of young people. Yeah, I seen that. And I watched the video. They put him in the back of a paddy wagon, and nobody's seen him ever since. And his lawyers came out to say that he's got to die in jail. He was sentenced to 13 months in jail for doing his job as a reporter. He didn't swear, didn't threaten nobody, nothing. He said, we're going to uncover this whole trail of raping young people, pedophilia, you know what I mean? And, oh, no, the UK Parliament didn't want to hear that. They don't want nobody uncovering that because most of those people are pedophiles themselves. So, no, let's put this guy in jail. You don't have free speech in this country. And I was talking to some people from the UK. You know, they say, well, your gun rights are killing your country and all that. So, well, our gun rights keep us free. Our gun rights secure our freedom of speech. You don't have that there? Oh, we have free speech. Oh, yeah. You have free speech, all right. You say anything gets a crown, you get caught, you go to jail for it. Oh, that's not true. Oh, I can dig up tons of articles from the BBC right now showing you that. Oh, we have free speech. Oh, yeah, that's why Tommy Robinson went to jail for uncovering something, the most heinous act of evil in the planet is molesting children. He was uncovering and doing humanity a favor, and the Parliament wants him arrested. 13 months in jail? No, the judge said, I don't care if he gets killed. His lawyer says, there's so many people, the Islamic people want him dead. And the judge says, I don't care. He's going to jail. And instead of putting him in protective custody, no, right into regular jail, knowing that he's going to get killed. And I hope the people in UK, here's the other thing too. The British, okay, back in 1776, they gave us a hell of a fight. I mean, it went down to the last wire. Where the hell is that toughness in the UK anymore? You British people out there, where's that toughness? Where'd it go? You're caving into your attack on free speech. You gave up your gun rights. Where'd it go? What happened to the Great Britain people? And I know a lot of people in Britain are great people with the whole Brexit thing too, but you're caving into the George Soros crap. The anti-gun agenda that's destroying your country. You can't even get rid of Islam now. They're overtaking your countries in the UK. And people like Tommy Robinson are going to jail. Poor guy's probably going to get killed. And I urge people out there to pray for this guy. Pray for the protection of Tommy Robinson. And man, if I was a multi-billionaire, if I had half the money George Soros did, what I would do is I would arm every male-bodied citizen in the UK, arm them to the teeth, and take that damn country over. Throw out that whole monarchical system and create a democracy with a constitution. That's what I would create for the whole entire UK, not just Britain. And that's what people in the UK need to do. You need to take up arms, overthrow that damn monarchical system, get rid of the damn radical Islam, get them the hell out of your countries, send them packing where they belong, and take your country back and restore freedom of speech, restore people's right to keep and bear arms. You know what I mean? People need to rise up. I mean, what the hell happened to those tough British people that we had in the 1700s? That ruled half the world sometime, you know what I mean? And what happened to those people? You know what I mean? It amazes me, it really does. They all fall victim to the George Soros agendas. Oh, yeah, it's like to give up our guns is a good thing. Let's be a liberal trendy. Be all plugged into the matrix all the time with the earbuds on and, being just toned out to the complete world on their phones all the time. I'm guilty myself, man. And that's another thing these people put out, the technology. We're all guilty on this and victims of this too. I was getting my son a haircut, and I'm in the place there, the kids' haircut place, and I'm looking around. I'm playing with my son, with the toys. I'm looking around. Every parent, half the kids, were on an iPad or a cell phone, and I'm looking around like, am I really this much of a zombie like these people? You know what I mean? And I made sure my phone stayed in my friggin' pocket. I didn't touch it. But the thing is, here's the mind control of this. Even affects me, okay? If I don't have my phone on me, I'm like, shit, where did my phone go? You know what I mean? I got to check this and that. You know what I mean? There's something constantly drawing you to that damn phone. All funded by the Soros people. It's all related. And to keep you distracted. But the thing is here, what I use it for, and it's stuff like this, exposing them. Okay, I use their own weapons against them. But no, when I'm out with the family and all that, I try my best to get off the phone. And sometimes I don't. My girlfriend has to yell at me, and I thank her for doing that. But I'm always in the news looking what's going on. She goes, take a break from that crap. Let's have fun. I'm like, you know what? You're right. Put power off the phone. Just throw it, literally just in the back seat. You know what I mean? Whatever. That's why I said when this revolution is over, when it's all said and done, if we win this revolution, I'm taking my laptop, my computers, all that stuff. I'm going to take it and put it into this nice big bonfire and burn it away and just unplug from the whole matrix here. And just, I love going to the ocean. It's a great getaway, you know what I mean? When I go to the ocean, I leave the phone in the car and everything, and just sit there. Just the real ocean. Just sit there, and it's so relaxing. You're just witnessing God's power, His creation, and especially at nighttime when the stars are out and all that, and you're on the ocean and all that, you're just witnessing God's creation. He created all that for us, and you just... everything you have in your head, like the stuff you got to do, all the stuff that George Soros and them plant in your head, distractions, all that's gone. Like, you don't give a crap what happens tomorrow or whatever. At that point, you just unplug for a minute, you know what I mean? And it's awesome. It's an awesome feeling. And I suggest people to do that. Oh, yeah, there is a revolution. Yeah, I was watching something on InfoWars about that. Thousands of people are actually revolting against the parliament. Which is friggin' awesome, and it shows me there is faith and hope in the British people, though, and because number one was the Brexit thing that happened a couple of years ago. That was a huge move, against the European Union, the global system. And people need to really use this Tommy Robinson thing to catch on fire and start bringing some liberty back to the UK. And we know most of the time it hasn't been liberty because overbearing queens and kings and all that, and about the centralized governments and all that. Well, people need to overthrow them, plain and simple. They need a pure-out revolution, an organized revolution that puts these criminals in jail. And anybody that gets in front of the way, put them down, plain and simple. And you need a full-out revolution in the UK, absolutely. I 100% agree that needs to happen, if anybody agrees with that. Because George Soros emphatically destroyed all of Europe. I mean, they're funding the Islamic terrorist groups. They're the ones who helped the CIA create ISIS. They created Al-Qaeda. Then when people started getting wise that Al-Qaeda is no longer a real terrorist, they're CIA-created people. Yes, they use real Islamic extremists, absolutely, but they're funded, armed, and created by the CIA. So they finally realized that, the people. They finally got sick of the same bullcrap, the same script every time. So they had to create a new faction called ISIS. John McCain, Hillary Clinton had a big part of that after the whole Benghazi thing. And to put more fear into that. Now, they didn't count on Putin just emphatically wiping these scumbags off the face of the earth. I mean, Russia's probably the biggest thanks to Russia for wiping out ISIS, just about. Emphatically almost wiping them out. Then when Trump came in, he joined in with the fight. Because Obama didn't want to do that, no, because he didn't want to offend his people. You know what I mean? So, because we've got to kiss Islam's ass. It's okay for people to bash Christianity, okay, burn Christian churches down. That's okay. But yeah, the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt, Hillary Clinton funded them to try to get them to overthrow Egypt. They did the same thing with the Islamic terrorists, the Syrian rebels to overthrow Assad, the same script over and over again in every country. And they don't want you speaking bad about Islam. Oh, it's okay, though, to trash Christianity. It's okay to outlaw Christianity. You can't bring Bibles in school sometime without getting suspended or whatever. Some crazy stories I read over the last few years, and a kid getting suspended because he drew a stick figure of a cross with Jesus on it for Christmas, and they showed him like just hanging dead, and he explained to the teacher what that was about, and the teacher was so offended because she couldn't stand Christianity. But anyway, they had CPS go to the kid's house to evaluate the parents over something that should be basic history 101, what kids learn forever in this country. What's that, Ron? Is that the revolution going on, videos of it? The link you just posted? Yeah, so, they destroyed, yes, the political correctness is ridiculous, exactly. So, yeah, people like Soros who fund this political correctness stuff, and everything I'm saying again, I have to say this again, everything I'm talking about is all related with people like George Soros. He's one of the kingpins of the Illuminati. And him and his minions within the Illuminati that sit on the Council of 13, that's the highest order of the Illuminati. And these people connect, the only people they take answers from is, they call them serpents of wisdom, dragons of wisdom, whatever you want to call them. These people are fallen angels, literally fallen angels that pass orders down from Lucifer himself to these people. And they have the high priests that communicate with these things, to give these people orders, these people, earthly minions, their orders. And I know it sounds far-fetched, and to tell you the truth, honestly, I don't blame you if you don't blame me, because it does sound that far-fetched. I know for a fact, but I can't prove that to you. So that takes your own research and all that experience to understand that. And if you think I'm a nut, whatever, hey, I'm not going to argue with you, because when I first learned this stuff, I thought that person was a nut too. I'm like, this is something out of a sci-fi movie. No, sci-fi does no justice to reality. You can get George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, and all these sci-fi people, put them all together, and they still could not come up with a good script enough that even comes close to reality. And because all these Hollywood writers, they get real stuff. This is not from their imagination. Okay, they get real life stuff. Like this whole Star Wars thing. Obviously, there's not an interplanetary thing, whatever, but they come up with real stuff. The Force is witchcraft. Okay, the dark side, the white side. He used that and integrated it with the whole space stuff and everything. And they used a lot of occultism within those movies. This stuff is not out of people's imagination. This is real stuff that happens that, of course, they exaggerate and everything else. Yeah, mandatory vaccines, chemtrails, GMOs. You're right, Jackie. It's all, yeah, exactly. Reality always dwarfs fantasy, and truth is stranger than fiction. That's for sure. And so the Soros crew, the think tanks, they love to propagate this. They put out all this propaganda. What's up, Nick? They put out all this. Wait, where the hell were you, man? I was trying to get a hold of you to go to that new pizza place over there. Yeah, probably working, but anyway, yeah. Anyway, they put all of this together to confuse the hell out of people, and just to cause all kinds of racial divide, political divide, religious divide. When the masses, if they were all to come, yeah, I hear you on that, brother. If they were all to come together, all these people, the regular people, right? I'm not a Republican no more. I'm not a Democrat no more. I'm not any of this stuff no more. I'm an American citizen. I'm not a black American. I'm not a white American. I'm an American citizen. And if we put all that stuff aside, the New World Order would crumble in seconds. Yeah, people like George Soros, the billions and billions and billions of dollars they spend since they started doing this stuff. They spent countless billions of dollars on pushing all this stuff, and it could be destroyed in minutes. Literally, and destroyed in minutes. And that's how pathetic the New World Order is. And they lose money all the time. All that money, any hot bitches? I don't know, keep looking. But they put all that money and effort into a plan, and most of the time it flops because they try to push things before God's time and allows it to. And that's what pisses them off. How many millions of dollars, just here in Rhode Island, for example, millions upon millions of dollars that Michael Bloomberg fund here, Mothers Demand Action, all these groups come here to Rhode Island to try to strip us of our Second Amendment. And we beat them every single time. And none of us have money, and we work regular jobs. We defunded millions and millions of dollars for truth, you know what I mean? And even regardless of most of our Senate and representatives are all far left scumbags. And they had no choice because of the overwhelming outcome to stay house against the red flag bill. Yeah, that's what I want to talk about too. I'm going to do another video on that, Ron. We got to organize something against that red flag bill. I got to talk to Frank from the Rhode Island Second Amendment Coalition. We got to do something about that. And, you know, the thing is, these politicians need to know we mean business. And that's what the Soros people are failing at, because they created this whole scandal called the Blue Wave to make it look like because of Donald Trump, we're going to destroy everybody. We're going to send blue across the country. But the thing is, it's already failing. Since they've been doing that, the Republicans have actually gained steam. They're up now. I think they're closer up by a couple of points now. At first, the Democrats were up by a big margin. But ever since this blue wave propaganda shit, the whole anti-gun movement with David Hogg and all that, they started putting their own foot in their mouth. Now all of a sudden, it's starting to level off, and the Republicans are a little bit ahead now. And it's backfiring themselves. So this blue wave is being crushed by a red storm right now. And, you know, we need to, and I'm not just saying vote for Republicans. I'm just telling people, just vote for anybody that will support the Constitution. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Libertarian. Support anybody in your district or whatever that supports the Constitution and gun rights. And because people like Soros, they can't stand that. They can't stand when people are united. And again, you know, if you use football games, for example, that's why I complain all the time about the politics in the football. Now, notice this. This is how people can get along. I know it's just a football game, but when your hometown wins, okay, when the Patriots won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, right? When they came to Rhode Island, they had a big celebration. They had a big celebration in Boston, too. Now, at those celebrations, who were there? There were people of all parties there. Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians. At that point, nobody gave the crap about the politics going on. Everybody got along and celebrated for a common goal over a sports game. So why can't we do that in real life? Why can't we just put our political differences aside and say, all right, let's come together as humans, like George Washington wanted us to do, okay? He wanted us to do that, and he wanted us to stay away from this political divide. And that's why I was saying earlier, let's... mandatory boobs. Yeah, I'll talk to you later, Nick. Give me a call tomorrow or something. We got to go to that Frank Pepe's place there. That's pretty good. Mike said it was good. But anyway, yeah, we should all put that stuff aside and come together and say, okay, what can we do to solve this stuff? People like George Soros and these elitists would be scared crap knowing that was happening. And God forbid to them that the blacks and whites come together. I was at a rally and my friend Nkosi was there. Big black dude, tough guy. I spar with him in karate sometime, and he's a real tough kid. And they couldn't stand the fact that me and him were getting along. We were like on the same team because they were trying to talk it into him and about the anti-gun stuff. And he told me right out, so listen, I was warning you people. I was a couple of years ago running on the streets thinking all white people wanted to kill me and all that stuff. And we have to give up our guns because I learned on my own that none of this is true. And plus he's a Christian on top of it. So, when you put all these people together, they can't stand that. They can't stand the fact, they'll call you racist because you support Trump, but they won't show you the millions of black people who love Donald Trump. At the Donald Trump rally in Warwick, when he was running for president, they had, I don't know how many black people were there. Big Trump shirts and everything was great. And, they say, oh, so you have to, Donald Trump's racist. No, it's not even true. Like the whole rebel flag bullshit. The rebel flag had a bad history, absolutely. But the thing is, it's a symbol of history, something we should keep there so we don't repeat history. That's why the leftists are trying to erase all this historical stuff, take down statues of Thomas Jefferson, this one and that one, because Edmund Burke, who's one of the founding fathers, a lawyer, he quoted, those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it, so they want to erase history so you can repeat it. And sure, it's bad stuff that happened, absolutely. Bad stuff did happen, but that's something we need to leave there to learn from that. Now, the blacks who live down in the area in Georgia and all that, I don't know how many pictures and videos on YouTube, black people saying, this is our flag too. They wearing shirts, big flags with the rebel flag, because it was part of their heritage. The heritage has changed, and people think, everybody's free now. But black people, countless numbers of them were supporting the rebel flag, saying it shouldn't come down. You know what I mean? So, I'll tell you, the only racial divide you'll ever see, the only way is when you turn on the mainstream media. Sure, they'll show thousands of people on the street yelling and bitching, but those thousands of people don't represent not even 0.01 of the population. You take the whole black population right here in the United States of America, right? Those people in Ferguson and all that, they don't represent the black population. 0.0001 is something that crazy compared to the real black population. Every black person I know very well condemned everything that was going on in Ferguson. They said that's not how Martin Luther King did things. They knew that. MLK did things peacefully. He got stuff done. You know what I mean? He didn't cooperate with people like Soros. That's why he ended up dead, too. And, so we have real pioneers come along, like MLK, JFK, and all these people expose what's going on. Yeah, sure, they end up dead. That's only because God allows it to happen. And they're better off where they are now. We're all better off up there than being here. But God uses people for a reason, to put them in positions of power. And people say, well, you can't become a president unless you're a elitist. No, that's not true. If God allows that to happen, you will, like Donald Trump. And sure, Trump's not a saint by all means. He's done some bad things, staying in Afghanistan, bombing Syria, which was bad. I condemned that 100%. But on the whole, I do support the guy. He's done more things than any president I've known in a good way. Attacking the globalism and all that stuff. But again, it's your right to like him or not. I support that. But God did put him there to hold back the New World Order. Because if Hillary would have got in, especially Jeb Bush, right now, I wouldn't be talking to you on this. Right now, we'd be at war with Russia. Right now, it would be total martial law. I mean, they were ready to put the hammer down. They were ready because Obama failed at doing it. Obama was supposed to usher us into this North American Union that was set up by the Bushes, set up by the Clinton. Lou Dubs exposed all that. Obama was here. He was placed here to put a black American citizen in, which he's not a citizen at all. He's not even a legal citizen in this country. But to put a black president to usher us into this one global system, perfectly into the North American Union, which is the last-ditch effort to a New World Order. That failed because God did not allow that to happen. And so they needed the next puppet, which Hillary Clinton is. Barack Obama looks like an angel compared to Hillary Clinton. This girl is a complete witch. I mean, you have no idea. And Jeb Bush, he's like almost a devil in disguise. His whole family is. The Bushes and Clintons, you don't get evil except for George Soros. That's the pinnacle of evil right there. And those are Satans on earth right there. So they were ready to push us into the North American Union, the global government, and it was all set and done. Everything's here, everything. They had everything. Again, when I say the elite follow biblical prophecy, Israel had to become a nation again. And yes, Israel was reclaimed again by the fake Jews, the Rothschild, okay, the Zionists, okay. But the thing is, the Bible said Israel become a nation again. Not that God condoned the way it happened. People need to understand that. He tells you prophecies, Jesus tells you prophecies that are going to happen, and a lot of them are evil things happening. But he's not condoning them. He's telling you that these things are coming. He's warning you. So when these things start happening, you're like, oh, wow. You know what I mean? And Israel had to become a nation again, and they're hell-bent on rebuilding that third temple. And it's all to do with this whole Zionist movement, which, again, are fake Jews. They're not real Jews. Understand the difference. I hate when truth is say all Jews are. No, they're not. You need to understand the difference between the two. I'm not anti-Semitic. I support God's Jews 100%. I consider myself one of them. And because we're supposed to do a Judeo-Christian, and that's what the Soros did and all these globalists. They got into Christianity because it was a Judeo-Christian system. That's what created this country, was a Christian Judeo system. And what they did over the years is especially with the Catholic Church, they ripped the Judeo out of Jesus Christ, which his name was Yeshua Messiah. That was his Hebrew name. And they ripped the whole entire Judeo side of Jesus Christ. And now what they did is they took this Christ, changed a couple of things. So he was born on December 25th, which he wasn't. You lied about a bunch of other things to put him as the universal Christ, to morph him into this great big Buddha, this Antichrist that's coming, to deceive the population. That's why most Christians today don't know the asses from the elbows when it comes to the Bible. They think there's going to be a pre-tribulation rapture, when the rapture is for the people. You know what I mean? 3.5 years, the first 3.5 years is for the people who believe in God. The second 3.5 is the great bowl judgments. Okay, but people like Soros and all this, they vastly invested in, there's a German word called Frankenism. It's infiltration. They join these churches, join these political parties, and they join them, get along with everybody, start getting to know everybody, stop funding, oh, here's some money, I'll donate to another new set of pews, or I'll donate to the Democratic Party to help fund this and that. So they start getting well known. And when they start getting well known, people look up to these people. And when they come to this point of leadership skills, or when they become a leader, what they do is they systematically just branch you off. Oh, I'm going to go open my own organization now. So all the people that loved him here are going to go here. Now he's got everybody in his fist. So now he could pollute the whole entire organization while he destroyed the first one. So the same thing, even though George Washington warned us about the Democratic and Republican parties, there's been many great Democrats, many great Republicans as president, but they've been systematically corrupted from within by people like George Soros and their money. It's a design like George Washington seen this, okay? He's seen this happen in the UK. He's seen how these elitists, the bankers, set up a 2 or 3 party, they set up a main system, okay? In our country, a 2-party main system. Okay, that's constantly ignoring the independent and the libertarian parties. And the libertarians starting to gain some steam now, in which the elite is shaking their pants right now. But they have these 2 pillars right here, and this is the way you see them in your perspective. It's different not because of the reverse mirror angle, but this is my right hand, this is my left hand. So this is the Republican Party, this is the Democratic Party. People see that as the regular average people, as 2 different parties. Nothing to do with each other at all. But when you go to the top, when you start understanding things, how they work, and you start going to the top, going to the top, going to the top, going to the top, all of a sudden you see the 2 pillars lean on each other. It's called the Royal Arch. Without each other, they wouldn't exist. In other words, if the Democratic Party was to crumble, so went the Republican and vice versa. It's designed that way, and it's not a coincidence they call it the right wing and the left wing. It's like, just say it's my right wing and it's my left wing. It's me controlling both wings. People don't see that. They see just this wing and this wing, nothing to do with each other. But it's people like George Soros and all them controlling both. Like a bunch of puppets. All these people pushing. And that disgusts me the most when you go to election season, right? You see people on one side of the street, the Democrats, whoa, blue, and the people across the street, whoa, red, ready to, at the moment's notice, ready to run across the street and rip each other's heads off. Over what? over two parties that can't stand any of one of you, over two parties that are systematically controlled by the same devil. You know what I mean? And yes, Trump did break the establishment. I mean, the Republican Party hated him more than the Democrats did. They didn't want him in there. Oh man, he's an embarrassment to us, getting him out of here. They didn't want him in there. They wanted Jeb Bush to be president. The Illuminati picked Jeb Bush to be president and Hillary Clinton as Plan B. And when that failed, Jeb Bush had no choice to take off. Then Hillary stepped up, and they were going to put her in. They tried to. They even rigged their votes, and it wasn't Russia rigging the votes. It was Homeland Security in favor of Hillary Clinton. And they still failed because God threw his hand, his wrench in the works, plain and simple. So you got people like Soros funding all this stuff, all this great divide. And you should see the demon. When I was talking about spiritual warfare, I do that a lot here. You can see the demons in these people. The minions who serve these people are literally demonically possessed. I mean, again, if you don't want to believe it, it sounds far-fetched. Hey, I don't blame you. I'm not going to judge you for it. But these people are literally possessed by demons. Okay, I confronted people when I was in Boston, at the Boston Marathon, when the top head of Secret Service come up to me, heads of the FBI, okay, Homeland Security and all that, come up to me and look me dead in the eye. I mean, the look on that guy's face, that Obama's top Secret Service agent. He's a bald guy, which are all bald, actually. But he was Obama's, one of his big top Secret Service agents. Staring me right in the eye. I could see the demons running through that guy's face. And if he had no cameras around, he would have probably pulled out his gun and shot me 15 million times. You know what I mean? Like, the evil and hatred that were in those people's eyes. But where they hated the most is seeing the Holy Spirit with me. And but this is where the war is at, folks. And people think it's a physical. No, it's a spiritual one. I was saying earlier, people say, you want the truth, follow the money trail and the political trail. No, it'll get you some truth. But if you wanted to get to the bottom of that rabbit hole, the money trail is not going to lead you there. The political trail is not going to lead you there. It's the spiritual trail. Again, these people don't care about political parties. To them, they don't exist. Money doesn't exist. They don't need your money. I don't know if people keep getting that. They use money for control. They can care less. That's why they're in a collapsed economy. They don't care about money. And when the time is right, when they do get the time, they are going to collapse the economy and push a digital one-world currency, cashless system set up by Soros and his crew, the Rockefellers, openly bragged about for years in their memoirs, how they want everybody instituted with an RFID device into your right hand or forehead. Just a coincidence to the Bible? I think not. And because it's a Luciferian system. I mean, you can find these memoirs online. You can go right to their websites. The United Nations is not a conspiracy. This is real stuff that the World Health Organization, the International Monetary Fund, the Club of Rome, the United Nations, I could go on forever with these groups. George Soros and all these globalists at the top openly stating they want everybody fitted with an RFID chip. Everybody. You can't buy or sell without it, and it's going to be a world economic system with the healthcare instituted onto it. Everything in your whole life is going to be on that chip. And guess what? You don't have one, you don't drive a car, you don't have a job, you don't buy anything. And it's not a coincidence that the Bible says this. People say, well, you get some jerks saying, well, how do you know they're not just doing it to make the Bible look real? Again, like I said, the people at the top of the Illuminati and the world's elite, they worship Lucifer as God. They know the Bible needs to come true to bring forth Satan on this planet. They know that. They won't tell you that. They won't tell the Wiccans that. They won't tell the New Agers that, or the low-level Church of Satan people that. They want to keep you spiritually dumbed down and dead. They don't want you to follow them. They want you gone, get out of their way. They're going to mislead you every which way through atheism, through Wicca, through witchcraft of all sorts, through all the different occults out there. They're going to mislead you purposely to philosophically kill you spiritually and physically kill you with the eugenics program, which is Agenda 21. That's what their goal is. And again, the world's elite, they believe in the Bible 99%. They know the Bible better than most pastors out there today. They can recite it word for word, front and back, but the thing is not written upon the heart. That's the thing. So they know they need biblical prophecy to come true to bring forth their king. And it's not a coincidence. You could check this for yourself. Go to the United Nations building in New York. I hate that damn scummy place. But go there. Learn about the UN's plans. They have a big map on the wall. I don't know if it's still there. I remember on a school trip I seen that. The United Nations, the Club of Rome, they have a big plan, okay? A giant map of the world. They got to split into 10 sections, okay? Hey, what's up, Carl? They got to split into 10 sections, and their globalist plans, after they got the North American Union going, and they're going to jump that now because this whole thing's been scrapped. They failed. They're going to go right to a global government. But their global government, when they had full control of this planet, economically, systematically, the whole 9 yards, they got the world split into 10 zones. And they've already got people ready to be appointed as a leader for each zone, 10 of them. So it's going to be 10 not elected, appointed leaders. I don't know what they're going to be called, presidents or prime, whatever. I don't know what the titles of them are. But what the Bible says they're kings. Now, it's not a coincidence. The same things in the Bible, in Daniel, how the world's going to be split into 10 zones. There's going to be 10 kings upon the earth. And it's matching exactly what's going on with the Club of Rome and the United Nations. And they said, when we get our full global government, we get the world organized under our system, these 10 people are going to anoint a one world chancellor. They pick, then 10 people, as the Bible would say, the 10 kings give their crown upon this one person. He's the Antichrist. And what the globalists call, they're going to be called, I don't know, his name is going to be like world chancellor or something. But this political leader, like he's going to rise up, and those 10 world leaders are going to elect this guy as the world chancellor. He's going to be fully supported by the Pope, because the Pope at this time, and now he's got, right now as we speak actually, the Pope's got every major religion on the planet, even the Muslims, under his system. He's the king of all these religions. It's the ecumenic movement. The UN's adopted this as their official one world religion. Again, funded by Soros and all these people. A lot of millions of dollars went into the billions of dollars, countless money. So he's got all the religions under his hand, all of them. And he's conforming all the mainstream religions to say we all serve the same God. It's a beautiful thing, a piece of all of us getting to get along, worshiping the same God. But here's the thing. Under this global system, if you say Jesus is the only way to heaven, which is the truth, you'll be arrested for hate crimes. Your church will be shut down, the whole 9 yards. Now, granted, right now, it hasn't happened yet, and they are attacking people for doing it. But when under the system, they're going to do that. So now, since this world chancellor's here, this Pope, okay, he's the false prophet of what the Bible calls the false prophet of the end times. He's going to declare this guy here, because he's going to be killed before everybody, and he's going to bring him back to life. He's going to declare him as God. And people are going to worship him. The whole world's got to worship this guy, and you're going to be forced into that systematic system with the mark of the beast. That's what it's called, the mark of the beast. RFID, which is a radio frequency identification device. It's a system set up by these Soros people. Okay, so George Soros, and it's again the David Rockefellers, all these big prime-time multi-billionaires, conglomerates of media and everything else. They set the system up perfectly to bring in the Antichrist. That's the whole thing is about. It's not about oil. It's not about money. It's not about just who they want as president. No, it's about a global government. No, that's a big conspiracy theory, David. It was the CIA. CIA was all over 9/11. I mean, and Israel, you understand too? Israel, there's two different Jews. I got to explain this, the truth is all the time. There's the Zionist Jews and the fake Jews. The Bible clearly says this, okay? And there's real Jews who live in Israel, okay? Those are not bad people, okay? It's the Zionists who are the ones who founded Israel. Those people there, those are the fake Jews. They're not real Jews. They're not even in the same bloodline. They're fake Jews. The Bible makes that very, very clear. And so anyway, these people set up this whole global system to unite this world leader. And he's going to come out of, I'm glad you mentioned Israel, because that's why Israel had to be declared, it's biblical prophecy, that Jerusalem is the capital, and it's got to stay the capital. Because now, since Jerusalem is officially the capital, now Israel has already stated, we've already fabricated the third temple. We've got everything built, everything. We got the rabbis trained, we got the clothes picked out, we got the people who worked it, all the whole 9 yards. They got the buildings, the structures, everything all ready to go, fabricated. They said we could have this third temple up within a matter of 2 to 3 months. 2 to 3 months we could have this third temple up. And since Jerusalem has been officially declared by the United States as the capital, now they're going to get 100% backing against the Palestinians and Gaza and all that stuff, all the people trying to destroy it. And they're going to build this third temple and say goodbye to the temple mount, because, you know what I mean, now they got all the green light to do this. Okay, the third temple is going to come up. Okay, there's going to be a national peace agreement, which is going on now in the works right now, as you've seen in the world. And also war to follow, too. And this is going to happen. Damascus is going to be wiped off the face of the earth. It's not a debate. It's going to happen. That's why it's not coincidence all the actions happen in Damascus, okay? All the bombings and everything else in Damascus there. It's got to be wiped off the face of the earth. Now, this Antichrist is going to come out of that third temple, as the Bible says, as the Illuminati know. That's why they're planning all this for a reason. No, Enoch was not a creator. Enoch was a regular person who God loved. And the Anunnaki, they're not gods. They're the fallen ones. They're the sons of God and the fallen angels. They're not even close to even being gods. not at all. And you know what I mean? Especially when you study the bloodlines, you got to see exactly what I'm talking about, Sandra. And not even the slightest bit to the truth of what you just said. Sorry to tell you that, but that's the truth. I mean, and so basically, this world government is coming, and God, you know, in Jesus, God in the flesh, manifest in the flesh, tells us how to prepare for it. Daniel told us how to prepare for it. John on the island of Patmos, when he wrote this, told us how to prepare for this. All the prophets came along, told us what was coming, how to prepare for it, and what's going to happen. And it's not going to be, it's not going to be pretty, you know. And I'm telling you right now. Oh, boy. Adam and Eve never existed. And you know that how? Were you there? So I love people like this. Before you even start, you're going on about Enoch and the Anunnaki, you don't even know about the bloodlines first. Because if you knew about the bloodlines, okay, you know you would sound totally foolish right now. Totally foolish because you don't know what the bloodlines are about. And even the Illuminati know that's not true. They know none of that's true. All that is New Age garbage right there. That's all that is. It's like New Age garbage, low-level occultism. The Illuminati know damn well that's nothing, not even close to that's true. And what you're saying, Sandra. So I don't know who told you that, what kind of stupid zeitgeist movies you watch or anything. But that's all wrong. The son Amun-Ra, son Amun-Ra was Horus, which is also known as Tammuz. That's not even true. I'm a psychic, not a medium. Well, let me tell you about something about psychics first here. Well, these so-called psychics, okay, I'm not doubting that you do not see things. I'm not questioning you on that. But I was into that spiritual stuff, New Age crap too. What you're doing, okay, when you channel the stuff, however you do it, okay, your visions you're seeing, they are not truth, okay? You are given some truth into those visions, and those visions are not from your power. Those are demonic, unclean spirits, familiar spirits that are the sources of what you're seeing, of your psychic abilities. They'll throw some truth in there with a bunch of garb mixed up into it. So you really think you're seeing the truth when it's not the truth. I was in that stuff before. I know exactly what I'm talking about. And consciousness is coming, the black gods are re-rising on reality. And the other thing about the Christ consciousness, okay, no. That's nothing but New Age garbage. And I'm never going to go down the hole right now because I did several videos on that. I was into that stuff years ago. I know exactly what I'm talking about. And those, even people who have astral projection, and that is real. I know, don't doubt that. That is very real, okay? Astral projection, out-of-body experiences. Those supposed ascended masters you see, those spiritual guides, whatever you want to call them, cosmic beings, they are not gods at all. They're fallen angels. They're deceptive spirits. That's all they are. They're going to show you things that you could never have imagined. And a lot of it's truth, but they mix it with a bunch of BS to delude you, to make you think other than what God has said. That's why God warned you in the Bible about using this divinization in that way. We create our own reality. All right, Mark, okay, if we create our own reality and your own gods, right? I challenge you this right now. Why does everybody in the planet that says their own God, right? Everybody in the planet that's existed that said we become our own gods, right? If that was true, why are they dead? Answer that, Mark, please, or whoever else. Please answer that. If you could become your own God, you really honestly believe that, all the so-called masters that came along to prove this, right? Why are they dead? Why ain't they still walking the face of the earth? And I know the answer to that. There's a universal law. That's what I get told all the time. That's what I got told when I was into that garbage. Oh, well, there's a universal law. Well, hold on a second. If there's a universal law, right? You're God. So why are you following a universal law if you're God? You know what I mean? There's the contradiction right there. That's what started making me think to get out of this crap. Why are we abiding by laws? If I'm supposed to be God, become my own God, why am I abiding by these laws? You know what I mean? So that whole New Age philosophy, it's bull. It's been proven bull. You know, if you're God, Mark, I challenge you right now, make yourself appear right here. Show the whole world right now. Make yourself, your God, appear right here physically, right here. Do it. Because you can't and you won't. You know what I mean? And I challenge everybody like this. And they can't not. Then they say, well, I'm talking foolish. Oh, I'm talking foolish. Oh, yeah. That's another thing they come at you. Oh, well, now you're talking foolish. Oh, that's foolish. Surely it's foolish for a God to just make himself appear here. If you're a God, you could do this. Put $1 million on my desk right now. Good. If you're a God, you could do this, right? You could become your own God. That means you could do whatever you want, right? Make $1 million appear right here. Make yourself manifest right here, right now. You can't, and you won't, because you cannot become your own God. That's the most foolish and dumbest thing people have ever believed. And God, take with. No, we're not gods. We're never even close to being gods. That was Satan's biggest delusion ever, okay, to make people believe that they could become gods. That was the first lie to Eve, to say, you're not going to die. Surely you won't die. You could become like God yourself. That was Satan's biggest lie to humanity, the first number one lie. And it still goes on today from people like you who are into these low-level occultism called the New Age movement to believe that you could become God. Oh, Christ wasn't real, but he was a consciousness. It's a universal No, it's not. Christ is a real being, okay? He was God manifested in the flesh, resurrected from the dead from 3 days and 3 nights in the grave when he saved a lot of people in Hades that, before him. He went literally to hell to raise these people back, okay? So you're not going to sit there and say, you could become God, then you sit there and deny the Savior. You know what I mean? You do not become God. You can't become God. We are just mortals. And the Anunnaki, they ain't not nothing, okay? They don't have special powers or magical, mystical powers. Sure, they have when they were here on the earth, they had extraordinary abilities, but they're nothing compared to God. And people need to actually go learn about the bloodlines. And, what's her name here to say we were created by Enoch and the Anunnaki? No, Enoch was a man of God. I mean, if you read his books, I mean, unless you're talking about the Cain's grandson Enoch, which is a different Enoch, he was wasn't a good person. That whole bloodline was all corrupt, most of them. And but Enoch himself was a man of God. Okay, he was actually the first person, if you want to call it raptured, he was the first person taken up into heaven without dying. And Enoch was a very good person. Even the Bible today references Enoch many times. And that's why the Catholic Church and all them doesn't want anybody to know the book of Enoch, because it explains all this. It explains all the garbage that you just spewed out of your mouth. Enoch, the book of Enoch, explains what those things were. Okay, he gives the names, the details of what these fallen angels did, what they taught man, their names and everything else about them. So you're going to sit there, we got to believe this whole New Age spiritualism, which again, was promoted by people like Soros, back to Soros again. People like them, they know damn well this stuff doesn't exist. Okay, they know damn well they believe in Satan as God. That's what they're here for. The whole point of a New World Order, the global government, the United Nations, the Club of Rome, the International Monetary Fund, the World Health Organization, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the CIA, the NSA, the whole point of all these organizations is for one reason, is to bring in a global one world government for Lucifer, to put him at the throne of this planet. That's the entire point. Oh yeah, if you ask Jesus to put $1 million on your table, he ain't giving it either. Exactly, and you're right, because Jesus don't want people riches here on earth. You store up your riches in heaven. He said, because he was even tempted by Satan. When Satan brought him up on a mountain, he says, I could give you all this. I could give you the whole world right now, because Satan is the prince of this world right now. I could give you this whole world if you just leap from this cliff, and surely your Father would save you. And he was promised riches, everything. And he says, no, you don't tempt the Heavenly Father. And God's not going to, that's not how God works either. I know you got all these false ministries out there saying, oh, type amen, or say this with 10 people, you get $1 million or whatever. No, that's not how God works. He says to store up your riches in heaven, not on the earth. Get it straight. So, no, God's not going to make $1 million. I don't care how many times I pray. He's not going to make $1 million appear on his table. But what he has done is given us eternal salvation. That's what he's done. And that's what you can get by asking for it. So, to even sit there and tempt God, oh, God, if you're real, you're going to put $1 million. You don't tempt God like that. He's already given you what he needed to give you. And he does more. He doesn't have to, but he still does more. So that's people out watching right now, these people making these comments. That's the New Age philosophy. That's the low-level occultism that's being spewed upon this planet by people like Soros, who know damn well that none of this is all real. They believe that Lucifer is God, and they use this low-level occultism to deceive the masses. That's why the big spread of evolution that created, which was the big responsibility of atheism, a huge responsibility. Because even I think Kent Hovind said it was about 70+% of Christians who went on to college to learn evolution ended up turning away from the faith. Because evolution destroys philosophical beliefs, which promotes atheism, and which is Satanism. Atheism is Satanism. Anything that, because God, when after God confronted Adam and Eve and Satan, well, Satan went around spreading the word that later on, as things go along, he said his best accomplishment was to get people to not believe in him either, or God, either one of them. That's called atheism. That's Satanism. And what's today's satanic cults, like the Church of Satan? Oh, we don't believe in Satan. Oh, yeah, you know. You just don't know that. Well, because they teach Satanism is you become self-enlightenment, self-illumination. You could become your own gods. It's another branch of the New Age bullshit. And so what they drive people into that. And but the thing is, it's actually Satanism. All of it is. Every single bit of it is. Wicca is, and people who follow Wicca, oh, we don't believe in Satan. We don't worship Satan. We worship the horn god Pan. But they don't know the people who teach them believe in Baphomet, not the horn god. And that Eastern style becomes the Western style or whatever. And, it's all perception and deception. That's all it is. And so your New Age teaching to say that we become gods is totally wrong and false. Plain and simple. I have God in me. Which God do you believe in? The God that gives you money, the God that makes you a God, which doesn't exist. That's called Lucifer, Beelzebub, Satan. That's that God's name, which he's not a God at all. And the council, I love when people bring up the Council of Nicaea. Let me guess. Please explain what the Council of Nicaea. I love when people bring this up because I love jamming this right down their throats. I'm waiting for you. Now, the gold, I know where you're going with that, Sandra, because they say, well, they want all the gold for the aliens and all that. No, it's not about that, okay? Gold to them is the only thing that's actually worth something on this planet, okay? Money means nothing to the elite, okay? They only use this for control. That's it. That's it. Money doesn't mean nothing to them. Okay, I know where you're going with that because I heard that bull crap before. Yeah. Constantly were people who created the Bible for control, not to save you. Oh, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, Mark. People read this comment. And I love when people bring this up because if you're ready, I'm going to derail the hell out of you, blow you right out of the water with this crap right now. Yes, the Council of Nicaea was the people created the Bible for control, not to save your soul. All right, so you believe in that, Mark, right? You believe in that the Council of Nicaea created the Bible, right? You believe in that. When the Hebrew text, predates the Council of Nicaea like about 1,000 years. So, yeah, you believe in that, and the New Testament too predates the Council of Nicaea. And not only that, the Council of Nicaea, they didn't create the Bible. They destroyed the Bible. They went into the Bible and said, all right, we're going to nitpick what books don't go in the Bible. And they took many books out of the context known as the Bible. They took many books out because they lost control. They lost complete control of the Bible. That's what the Protestant movements from, the Reformation and all that stuff, and it wasn't, and I know you got to bring up the Dark Ages because one of these shows always do this. One of the trolls always bring up, well, if Christians are so good people, why they killed millions of people in the Dark Ages, the Inquisition? No. It wasn't Christians killing people. Get that right. It was the Catholic Church killing Christians and Jews, and mainly Christians from possessing the Bible, because they did not want the people to have a Bible. Charles Tyndale, John Wycliffe, Martin Luther, all these people put the Bible in English, and King James, where the King James Bible came from, okay, King James couldn't stand the rule of Rome. He wasn't perfect by all means. He had skeletons in his closet. But out of spite of the Pope, he created the English Bible. He told his scribes, I want word for word to the best of your ability, word to word to translate from the Hebrew to the English text. And he did this out of spite to destroy the Catholic Church, because they wanted the Inquisition was all about if they would kill you if you possessed the Bible, they would kill you, or if you didn't convert to Catholicism, they would kill you. And it was Christians and Jews that they were killing, not Christians killing people, Catholics killing Christians. That's what it was about. And so I'm going to correct you on all your little bull crap here. And the Council of Nicaea wasn't a thing that created the Bible. No, they destroyed the Bible. The Bible was around long before the Council of Nicaea, long before the Catholic Church existed. And so get your facts straight, get your historical facts straight at that. And I'm not Christian, I follow the oldest, must believe, and never bow to anyone. And yeah, I agree with you, Carl. The only person I'll bow to is our Heavenly Creator, and in the flesh, Jesus Christ. It's the only person I'm going to bow to. It's about it, and I agree with you at that. What's your opinion with Islam's plan to dominate the world? Islam's plans. Well, Islam was used as a tool. Islam was created and funded and worked with the Catholic Church. The Vatican created Islam. They had to spread Islamic doctrine across the Middle East because they needed allies against the Jews. Now, there's many historical documents about this stuff. And if you notice the similarities of Islam and the Catholic Church, both of them venerate Mary. Now, yes, I studied Islam. Okay, a friend of mine tried to convert me. I studied it, gave it the benefit of the doubt years ago. All right, Islam, right? They reckon, we mention Jesus in the Quran, and they do. Absolutely, they're not lying about that. But when you get to the Quran, they'll talk about Jesus, they'll mention Jesus, but they'll deny him as a savior. They'll deny him as the Son of God. They do that to purposely lure people in. And that was a scheme by the Catholic Church. It was the Catholic Church think tanks that created the George Soros back then. You know what I mean? They're the ones who created the whole Quran doctrine. And they worked with the people in the area to create the doctrine of Islam, the Quran, and many other doctrines. So what they did was they spreaded this movement because they needed allies against the Jews. Because again, it's always about the third temple. That's what it's about. And that's what it's always been about, that. A little piece of real estate. The whole world can't stand the fact that, yes, it does belong, regardless of the Rothschilds owned in Israel right now, it does belong to the Jews. So the world can't stand that fact. And so Islam was created by the Catholic Church, the Muslim movement today. That was created by the Catholic Church. And who controls the world right now is the Illuminati. That's who control it. And the top heads of the Illuminati. I'm not talking about the minions on MTV or the Hollywood with the Jay-Z and all them. No, I'm talking about the real elite like George Soros and these people. They control the planet, and they get nothing. Direct information from the serpents of wisdom, which is Satan's fallen angels. Okay, they communicate with them with the high priest and all that. That's exactly who controls this planet, and that's exactly why that people like you can't explain why biblical prophecy is 100% dead on. It's 100% dead on. It's no faults, no errors at all. It's 100% dead on to date. Things are happening. Everything that Jesus said before his coming, again, it's happening right now. 90% of it's been completed. Everything that Daniel said. The scholars have been baffled for years over the book of Daniel because of its accuracy. They're baffled about that. Even Nostradamus, he was like maybe 30% right, and his authors over the years changed his text, and he used a method called scrying, but none of these people are right. No doctrine in the world comes close to the Bible's. Not even close. So, you had people like Soros back then working systematically around the clock to distort information. And that's why all this hogwash about the Council of Nicaea creating a Bible when the Bible was around long before the Council of Nicaea. The Council of Nicaea was there to destroy the Bible, to water it down. That's what it was about. Because they knew they couldn't stop the movement, because when the Bible went English, there was a massive movement across the planet, spread like wildfire. And when the Bible went to English, to other languages, and people were starting to learn the Bible on their own, because back then a priest could tell you, hey, look, the Bible says you got to give me all your paycheck or whatever. Who's going to challenge them? Because they don't know the Bible, you know what I mean? They couldn't read it for themselves, so now people could read it. Now they're pissed off the Catholic Church, so they started the Inquisition, killing millions over the years during the Dark Ages, millions of Christians, millions of Jews, using the Knights Templar to do their bidding as well. When Hollywood and TV glorify the Knights Templar as protectors of the cup of Christ, no, they weren't protecting the cup of Christ. The Knights Templar is a very evil organization. They have been from the beginning until now. Nothing Christian about them at all. They're more like the protectors of the Antichrist. That's what they are, of that bloodline and all that. And they're still around today. And they exist within that order that was formed in 1789, I think it was. I think it was, yes, about 1780, I believe it was. I should have known this by heart because I talk about this all the time. In the Castle of Wilhelmsbad, when they formed all, because at the time, the Knights Templar, the Illuminati, the Jacobins, the Druids, and all them, they had to go underground because they would be all being hunted down by the Russians and everything. So they went underground and merged within a secret society within Freemasonry. And they're still around today. That's why most Masons, when they get to a higher level, they learn they're actually a Knights Templar. And that's a whole story altogether. And in the beginning of the time was atoms and electrons and yeah, I forgot who said that there was no Adam and Eve, but you don't know nothing about creation. And it is very possible for two people to populate the earth. And people think, the earth right now is 7 billion people, whatever it is, and that's a lot of people. No, not even close to what the population was before the flood. Not even close. And two people can very well populate the earth. Especially you live for 900 years, you got to tell me you can't get enough population going on. Guys, check this out, right? You live about, Adam lives for about 900 years, right? Check this out, right? You start having kids at a young age, right? So when you're 300 years old, you got great kids walking around. And as you're still alive and you're still populating the earth, your great kids are populating as well. You know, and do the math, okay? Astronomical numbers come out of that. And same thing with Noah. When he had to repopulate the earth with his 3 sons and the wives, they had to populate the earth, okay? And do the math with that too. Within a year, Noah lived, 400 or 500 years, I think it was. Within that time, you know how many kids you could have in that time? And while you're still having kids, your great-grandkids are having kids? Do you know how many people that could spread out? You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. Do the math. And the reason why they stopped the incense, if you take a copy, right? Anybody that's worked in a print shop knows this stuff. And this proves creation too. When you take a copy of something, okay, you use the same copy, and you take that copy, make another copy, and take that copy, make another copy. And if you use that, all of a sudden things start canceling out. Now, when you have different copies, you take the same copy, I forgot how it goes with method. My uncle, he used to own a print shop. He explained it very well. I got to get that from him. But the way he explained it is like basically it proves Adam and Eve and Noah and his family how they repopulated the earth and very successful. And later on, how incest had to be outlawed because things start overwriting itself. Where because if you have the same copy after a while, when just say you have A, B, C on the paper, right? When the B starts fading out, the same copy will keep fading that out and fading out. Thus, humans wouldn't be able to exist. So that's why incest was outlawed, because now when you take different copies from here, what's canceled here and what's canceled here, you put it together, it fills in the blanks, if you know what I mean. I hope I'm explaining that very well. But stop plucking one leech. Yeah, we can only hope, Sandra. Yeah, Sandra, we could only hope about that. And I sound mean by condoning the death of people, but people like George Soros and them, yeah, I think we could definitely agree on that. And we may disagree philosophically, but I'm sure we could, all of us here, again, we disagree philosophically about things, Mark II and all that, and Carl, I believe it is. But anyway, we could all agree that these elitists need to be taken out. Doesn't matter. That's what I was saying earlier. And I respect everybody of every religion, and we all need to come to a common ground. Our common ground, I don't care what race you are, what religion, what political party you are, all our common ground, everybody that exists on this planet today, our common ground, okay, is enemies like George Soros. Enemies like the Bilderbergs, enemies like the United Nations, enemies like the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the CIA, the NSA, the International Monetary Fund, the Club of Rome. All these are our common enemies. The world's elite. They're our common enemies. And yeah, we had a discussion about the New Age and the different religions and all that, but we all come to a common agreement that the elitists need to go. And if we could do that, we could get rid of the elitists, right? If we all united together on this planet as one, and if all of us could work together, put our differences aside, Mark and everybody, all of us put our differences aside, Sandra, and work together for a common goal to get rid of the elite, then we can start figuring things out for ourselves. But until then, you've got the elite distorting all of us with different information and everything else. So if we all work together, you know what I mean, we could save this planet. We would destroy the New World Order like a bunch of cockroaches that they are. We would squash them like a bunch of cockroaches. So, I mean, like, I hope I made that all this clear. And again, when I debate, I just want to let you know, like Mark and Sandra and all that, don't take nothing personal or when I debate with you with the religious stuff. And I'm glad you guys talk civil, because a lot of times people don't get civil, you know what I mean? And they start swearing and all that stuff. But we could talk about all this stuff, and it's great. It really is. Nothing wrong with debating, nothing wrong with talking, but you guys are adults. So you guys have common sense, and I'm glad for that, you know what I mean? So yes, we could all agree that we all have a common enemy, and that's the elite. And so we need to do what we can to unite people in this world together against the elite. Not unite them under the United Nations. They're fake world peace. We need to unite it under reality, you know what I mean? And if all of us right now thought the same way, we would destroy these people easily. Exactly, Sandra. And I'm behind you 100%, and you too, Mark, and everybody else. And we all need to unite. Put our philosophical views aside for a day, or for, whatever. And our political parties and everything else, and unite together as a common human being, you know what I mean? And a common American, common human being, whatever. And so we need to do that. Hey, what's up, Nick? What's going on, brother? Nizzy Bean. Nick here, he was actually with me in Boston. That's two people I don't get the credit a lot when we exposed the false flag in Boston. Nick here and my buddy Kevin LaPrade, they were with me doing camera and everything, and in Boston, Massachusetts, exposing that false flag. Hey, what's going on, Amber? How you doing? So I'm almost talked out. I don't even know how long. All right, I don't know how long I've been on. Anybody got the time? I don't know how long I've been talking. My mouth hurts. Yeah, Nick here, check his videos out too. He's been with us in Boston and confronting the FBI, Secret Service, and all that, exposing the false flag in Boston. And, it's a lot of crazy stuff goes on. And Nick himself could tell you the evil in these people. You can literally see demons in these people's eyes. I mean, like the FBI, CIA, the FBI and Secret Service that were there, these people are pure demons, plain and simple. 1 hour and 53 minutes. All right, let's go for another 7 minutes, and we'll call it a day. Feels like I'm on my radio show, which Tuesday night, doing a radio show, 990wbob.com, and 2:49 a.m., almost 2 hours. That's funny. I got a motor mouth, That's why I can't do regular reports, if you notice that, right? If I want to talk about, just say, something happened in the news, I can't just do a 3-minute report. I mean, I know it's supposed to be short and sweet. That's the best way to do it. But the talk show host takes over. You know what I mean? And it's like all of a sudden that 2 minutes of talking turns into 10 because you got other related things that pop in your head. And you're like, oh yeah, I remember when this happened that relates to this, that led up to this. And so next thing you're talking for 2 hours, you know what I mean? So, most of all, we could all argue here how the earth was created. All of us could argue what God's who, whatever. But here's the whole point of the matter, okay? And we could argue if the Republicans are better than the Democrats, vice versa, or if the Libertarians are better, whatever. Here's the whole point. Every single one of us, no matter what God you serve, no matter what political establishment you serve, all of us are equally guilty. I'm sorry, all of us are equally, the elite are guilty. I'm sorry. It's been 2 hours here, so forgive me. But all of us are equally victims of the New World Order. all of us could agree on that. And all of us have a common enemy that needs to go. And now, what are we going to do about it? As humanity, as people of this planet, what are we going to do about the elite? And sure, like one of us on our own couldn't do nothing. But all of us can. And if we keep spreading the word, getting people that follow your groups and your groups and your groups, all right, guys, listen, I'm going to get everybody in my group, and you say that in your group, listen, nobody talk about religion, nobody talk about political views, whatever. We're just going to focus on one common thing, is going after the elite. I mean, you see movies like that all the time. You see movies like that all the time when you have the mafia and another group working together. I think it was the movie Rocket Man. I think it was the one with the jetpack. I forgot. But there's a lot of movies out there that shows that people who are enemies, gangs and organizations who are enemies, but when something big happens, they put their differences aside and work together for a common goal. And it actually helps create peace between them too when it's over. Sure, they want to kill each other. They can't stand each other. But when they work together in a common goal, later on, we work together to defeat this big enemy. Now, why can't we work together from now on to make peace? And that's where real peace comes about, you know what I mean? And so if we can work together in doing this and focus on that and tell everybody in our groups, don't get distracted. Let's focus on this one thing. We can destroy this New World Order. And that's exactly what I'm about here is, hire a hitman, man. I can't say it with the thoughts in my head. I really can't. Because I'd probably get deleted off Facebook or whatever. But I'm not saying I would do it, but I would love, freedom of speech, screw it. I would love to see somebody do that. And if I could win the news tonight, that tomorrow morning you turn on the news, George Soros and the Rockefellers, this one and that one, were assassinated overnight, I'd be having a party. I'd be going to the liquor store, just loading up and having a big party, inviting everybody over and celebrating the whole thing. It sounds mean and immoral, but you know what? I would be doing that because these people are better off dead. And I hate to say that, and God forgive me for that, but these people are better off dead. And say people vibrate, and people's vibrations tonight and should, and if you were, we need to just attack the globalists, plain and simple. And we need to unite, work against the globalists and spreading the truth, that's all. And then we can later on work because the thing is, Sandra and all that, Mark, I know we would discuss things, whatever, but these are petty differences we're having right now because we have a same common enemy, you know what I mean? So if we could learn to work together to get rid of our common enemy, then we can work together to get rid of our petty differences. That's what the Founding Fathers saying. You know what I mean? Like the Founding Fathers, they got into vicious debates in Congress and Senate and all that. They sat there, screamed at each other. They went head to head, literally went head to head and talked on issues. But at the end of the day, they had one system that they all could agree on, which was called the Constitution. They created this document. Now, none of these guys are perfect, by all means. They created a perfect system that created this republic that was a strong republic. And so at the end of the day, they're like, all right, guys, let's let's everybody calm down. We get done debating. Now, what can we do? Now, create the Constitution, where everybody in this system creates a perfect government. You know what I mean? So that being done, we could do the same thing here against... Exactly, the left and right. That's the thing the elite fear the most. I was saying earlier, if all of us united, if we were like on election day, right? For example, right? Election day, you get the people over there for the Democrats, people over there for the Republicans. Instead of going like, I'm going to kill these people, just the tension building up. If all of them just took their signs, looked at each other, took their signs and just slammed them down and told, your Republican nomination right there, told your Democratic nomination right there, you know what? We don't want either one of you, okay? We're going to elect an independent person that both of us trust, both of us could agree upon. We're going to elect that person as president of the United States, or that person as your congressman or senator or whatever, what have you. If we could all do that, man, we would have a perfect country. And if you did this around the world, it would be a perfect world. You know what I mean? But you got these evil people who work day and night. They hijacked the Republican and Democratic parties, even though they were created for that reason. But there were still good people within the movement, and there still are today. But most of the Republican, most of the Democratic Party, evil people. And you got good people within these parties trying to work. That's why you see a lot of people in Democrat and Republican They consider themselves bipartisan. They love working with the other party. But the people within their own party can't stand that because they have to have it this way, they have to have it this way. But when you have people working together, that creates progress. Lead in the United. Yeah, we just we need to be united and to secure our victory here. And you know, it's crazy. And yeah, Nick, you know, man, you know the stuff we seen Ben through in Boston there. That was a crazy week, man, I tell you. And that's just a small example of fascist dictatorship, globalism, all that evil rolled into one, man. And yeah, and if they want us fighting each other, that's what I was saying earlier in the video about the racism all created by George Soros and his minions, his think tanks, and all these people that create this division and fund it and do whatever they can to promote it. And guess who they use the most is the mainstream media. And I was saying earlier, there'll be, just say tomorrow, right? God forbid, but tomorrow 100 people get shot by cops tomorrow, right? Every local news reporter, no matter who got shot by who, the local news reports it. Now, on the national level, what they do is they skim through the news. They'll look for that one story. It was a white cop that killed a black man. They'll look for that one story. And when there's hundreds of stories about a black cop killing a white person, or a black cop killing a black person, or a white cop killing a white person. But they'll take that one story and blow it way out of proportion. Oh, today a black guy was shot by a white cop, creates all this divide. Without the people actually investigating into what really happened. And sometimes, yeah, the cops are in the right. I mean, I know this is a police state. I exposed the police state. But a lot of times the cops are in the right. Like it was a video I seen that showed the cop's body camera. But the news purposely showing them the cop shooting the black guy. Look, he's unarmed. He's got his hands up, whatever. He had a knife, whatever, but they don't show the knife. And but when you see the whole video, because it makes you look at the cops gunning the guy down, and oh my God, he just executed an unarmed black man. And that's what it seems like. So when you watch the full body camera, because I was outraged about that too, I'm like, damn bastards. And when I seen the full camera view, I'm like, you see the cop, and he's going up. The guy is out of control. He's swinging knives, pushed the cop, and he's coming out of the woods, and he's calling cop names. He's running toward the cop with the knife. The cop warned him several times to drop it. They used a taser on him. The taser didn't work, and they had no choice to put him down. They didn't show that at all on the news. They showed just the cop gunning him down, caused a big racial issue. I forgot exactly which one it was. Same with the Michael Brown thing when he rushed the cop. They didn't tell you about that. Oh, an innocent black boy was killed. When he robbed the store, before that, rushed the cop, hit him his friend. They were punching the heck out of him, and he had no choice to shoot him. You know what I mean? But yeah, in the other cases too, there are unarmed people who really do get shot. And which is very, you know, that does happen, and they do make a federal case on that, rightfully so. But it's not just black people; it's white people too get innocently killed too. It's Spanish people, the Hispanics too. I mean, a lot of them get racially profiled. That doesn't get propaganda news because it doesn't cause that much tension because Spanish people get along with everybody. I mean, Spanish people. I grew up in parts of the state there where whites and blacks were the minority. You know what I mean? And we had Spanish, Asians, and all that stuff. So those people get along with everybody. You know what I mean? And Mexicans are great people, man. And I know I ran a lot about the wall and everything else, about the illegals, and I do. And I think illegal people do this purposely should go the right way. You know what I mean? But Mexicans and all these people are great people, especially law-abiding ones. You know what I mean? So, yeah, they always find a way to justify it. Yeah, exactly. That's how they are. You know, the mainstream media. They'll sit there and try to wrongfully justify the means. It's disgusting. And it's been over 2 hours, so I'm tired, man. My mouth hurts. My jaw actually hurts here. Because on the radio, I get to take breaks and everything else. And but Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 990WBOB.com. I was supposed to have a governor candidate from Rhode Island here. You know, the thing is here in Rhode Island, the media is so controlled, it's unreal. It really is. Once you get established in the media, which I get very well established in the media, then you get blackballed because they don't like your view, because you tell the truth. God forbid you tell the truth about things. You don't take sides, you stick to the truth, and that's, again, relating to people like Soros who fund this stuff, you know what I mean? And there's so many other people besides Soros, but Soros is one of the biggest ones. And mention Soros, it's all him and his minions that fund all the stuff to distort news. Operation Mockingbird by the CIA. I did a video last, I think it was Friday night. Friday night I did a video about Operation Mockingbird. Anyway, I did a video about Operation Mockingbird, how the CIA infiltrated the mainstream media. And because years ago, when media was established in this country years back, that's where the First Amendment comes from and everything else, people want to become a reporter to get the truth out. A reporter was considered a private investigator, a detective. You dig up more stuff sometimes than detectives do. Sometimes detectives use reporters to get information. So I don't know if that's 100% fact, but I've heard of many times detectives using reporters to get information about certain things. But that's what an investigative reporter is supposed to be, is an investigator. Okay, that's what you are. That's what I am. I try to be, and that's why I dig up all this information that all reporters are supposed to do. But when you get, like, again, I'm going to use Boston for example. We're at the Boston press conference. Nick here could confirm this here. We're at the Boston conference, and hundreds of reporters in that room, hundreds, and we were the only ones in there asking real questions. And it makes me sick. You know, I mean, you could become a reporter in the quest for truth, but most of those reporters there, they're just like, all right, I'm just going to read from my teleprompter, I'm going to read from the script they send me on the phone, and just report what they tell me to report. I'm here just to be here. You know, look at me, I'm reporting from this conference or whatever. No, a real reporter doesn't do that. And I had mainstream reporters that come up to me all the time to say, hey, listen, how do you get into something like InfoWars or something? Because they're sick of real reporters that work for the mainstream media, like Amber Lyon, Ben Swan, those people and Lou Dobbs and all them, who are real reporters, come out with real truth, but it's not them that cut it. It's the editors that chop it away, because if it doesn't fit the George Soros narration, or the globalist narrative, they'll cut and trim it all away, or not even air it at all. That's why Amber Lyon left. That's why Ben Swan left. And Ben Swan does a great job, man. I don't know what happened to Amber Lyon, but Ben Swan, he's got his own stuff going on. He does an awesome job. I mean, I can't say enough about him. He speaks like fluent. Well, I wish to God I could speak half as good as Ben Swan. I really do. And wish I could articulate words as good as him. I mean, the guy's great. And he didn't need a teleprompter. I mean, he does his own thing without teleprompters. He does a show called Reality Check. Great show. I love it. And Tucker Carlson, I got a lot of respect for him. And he's another one of those people, too, that just doesn't care what the status quo says or the establishment says, and they tell exactly how it is. But that's what a reporter is supposed to be there. He's supposed to be there to acknowledge the truth. But you had groups like, again, Soros-funded, CIA-funded Operation Mockingbird, that infiltrated the media. And yeah, David Rockefeller openly stated in one of his memoirs, I forget exactly how the quote went, but he basically said if it wasn't for the concealment of the New York Times and the Washington Post and all that, for them not telling the whole truth, they would have gotten away with what they got away with. He openly said this, David Rockefeller. That, I wish I could pull that up. The computer's logged off, but look it up for yourself. Look up David Rockefeller, type it in Google, quote about mainstream media. You know, they'll pop up. It's a popular search. But he admitted that if it wasn't for the press lying for him and concealing things for him, they never would have gotten away with half the stuff they did. And they used the press to push the global government and all their lies about vaccines, lies about terrorism and all this. All this stuff that's bad. Yeah, hell yeah, brother. Nick, fist bump. But yeah, they use the media to do all this stuff, to distort information, you know what I mean, and to cause racism, to cause political divide. It's disgusting, it really is. And like looking on, especially this year, you got the far left who are just distorting information, and the Republicans do the same damn thing. The establishment Republicans do the same thing. I'm not playing favoritism here. They sit there and distort information just to trash the other side, to get me hating that side hating me. And when in reality is, both sides of us here, we're victims. You know what I mean? And them two on each side, them, using this back and forth, they work for the same damn people. Again, what I was saying earlier, it's the false right-wing, left-wing paradigm. People see this, but they see this, but they don't, at the top, they don't see this. Two wings of the same bird, they don't see the bird in the middle. Like, it's the same global elite that control both wings. It's done by design. Purposely, you know what I mean? Anyway, guys, I'm going to get going here. I'm tired. It's been over 2 hours, and glad to see I still could go this long. And I got the gift of gab and the gift of jab against the New World Order. It's kind of corny, but anyway, I'm tired. So, guys, God bless you all. And again, what I was saying earlier, like Mark and Sandra and all these other people, yeah, we have differences in some ways, but we all share a common enemy, and let's work with that. And again, when we talking, like, I love it when people keep it civil, even if they don't agree with me. If you keep it civil, like an adult, like you guys have, Sandra and Mark, that's great. You know what I mean? And we could work off that. You know what I mean? And I respect you guys for that a lot. And people ask me all the time, why don't you ever delete trolls? Like, I'm not saying you guys are trolls. There's other people who are just come out and troll things and they don't know nothing, you know what I mean? Not saying that you, Mark and Sandra, are, not at all. But trolls that come out, and I never delete anybody because I believe in freedom of speech. Even if somebody calls me an a-hole or whatever, I believe in your freedom of speech to say that. You know what I mean? So, and someday I hope to reach out to those trolls too. And reach out to people of differences, whatever, and maybe I can learn something too. Who knows? You know what I mean? The truth movement is a learning process, is what it's about. We should not be fighting amongst ourselves. And another thing that's pissing me off the most I've seen in the truth movement, now regardless of what you think, what we know, okay, people, because they quit, and I'm not going anywhere with this, I'm not saying I'm taking any sides with this. I'm staying in the middle. That's I'm going to leave it as that, okay? And I'm probably still going to get heat off it. But I know this is the most controversial subject out there. Better than the evolution creation debate, better than the God debate, whatever. The biggest controversial subject right now going on is the flat earth and the round earth. Now, I don't want to start a debate here. Don't comment on this, please. That's the biggest controversial subject going on. And I think it's a huge tool to divide us, okay? Because even people in the truth movement who preach that they believe in the First Amendment, they sit there and bash the people. Delete them and everything else. Oh, damn crazy people believe in the flat earth. Oh, damn crazy people believe in the globe earth. There's nothing wrong with questioning the official narrative. That's what the truth movement is about. Sure, you might not agree with them, but you don't delete them and mock them for it. You can give them all the information you have. They give you all the information you have. Have an open mind about it. I look at both sides, fairly. And the thing is, doesn't matter if the earth's flat, doesn't matter if the earth's round, doesn't matter if it's a cube, doesn't really matter at this point. And sure, a lot of it's designed to block out the creator. Absolutely, I agree with that 100%. But does any of that matter right now, when we all share the same common enemy right now? It's a ploy by the enemy to get us all fighting with each other. It's the CIA tactics. They infiltrate within the movement, spread disinformation. Now, I'm not saying who either side's disinformation. They get in the movement, okay, and spread disinformation purposely to get people fighting within the movement, dividing it. That's the elite's goal, is to divide it from everything, divide and conquer. Yeah, to keep us being called cuckoos, exactly. And I don't know how many people come out, oh, well, here we go, the conspiracy theorists. I suppose you believe the earth is flat. I never said the earth is flat. I never said it's round. And personally, I've never been to space. None of us have been to space, unless somebody's an astronaut or a cosmonaut, whatever. So can we honestly say, other than the bullshit we see from NASA, we know NASA lies about a lot of stuff. And I'm not saying the earth is flat, I'm not saying it's round. I've never been to space to even see the earth, for myself, to know 100% what it is. I go by, all right, I go by the science books and the video feeds, whatever, the live feeds, the perception that the earth is round, but both sides bring up good cases. They really don't. And I'm not going on either side of this, okay? I'm just saying there's nothing wrong with questioning things. And we do know NASA lies, because NASA is a CIA organization. Let's not sugarcoat things. All right? So people sitting there, and this is all to relate about Soros, too, with the subject of this video is, because they distort information purposely, divide the people in the truth movement. But if you got a friend or some guy saying the earth is flat, don't go bash him for it. Question them, talk to them like civilized adults, you'll get somewhere. And something, you'll learn something from him, he'll learn something from you. Maybe you'll make him believe it's round, or maybe he'll make you believe it's flat. Who knows? But the thing is, the bottom line is, unless you've personally been to space yourself far enough to see the Earth, if it's round or flat, whatever, then don't sit there and defend something as if you know you're the one seeing it yourself. You know what I mean? Respect everybody's beliefs. You know what I mean? I don't delete people because they don't believe in God. I try my best to convert them, but you know what? I can't put a gun to their head and make them believe in God. That's their own choice to do that. You know what I mean? And same thing with them. They don't put a gun to my head and say, oh, you got to believe in the Anunnakis as gods and all that. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with discussing things. There's nothing wrong with questioning things and talking about it. You know what I mean? And keep it civilized and adults, we could get somewhere with it, you know? So, again, if you see somebody, and again, it's a CIA operation. That's all it is. Like Operation Mockingbird, how they got into the media and just destroyed it from within, and you know, funded by the Soros campaigns and all that, the think tanks and all that, and they do the same thing here. And this whole the flat Earth movement is big, very, very big. People don't understand that. There's millions, not like a couple handful of people. There's tens of millions of people on this planet that think the Earth is flat. And then the other side too, there's tens of millions who think, probably billions actually, who think the Earth is round. But it's grown. It's a big movement that's grown very exponentially, and that can't be ignored. You know what I mean? So, have any of us been to space to find that out for ourselves? And we know NASA's run and created. It's a CIA front organization. That's all it is. NSA front organization. All right, it's an intelligence agency that created to distort information, and they do lie about a lot of stuff. Absolutely. And you know, when you look at things like the moon landing, I know we're going to get a lot of flack from this, but it's really hard to believe that the moon landing was real. I'm not saying they haven't been to the moon. I don't know. You know what I mean? I wasn't there. I don't know. But the contradictions they have, one thing I do question about that, because if you look at by NASA's own mission, Obama even admitted this, we don't have the technology to go to the moon. How could you have the technology 60 years ago, but you don't have it today? Oh, because it got lost. NASA, you talk about the National Aeronautics Space Administration, right? Freaking NASA, right? You talk about NASA. They lost the information. And you expect the public to believe this. They lost the information, the technology, to go to the moon. Then they say, oh, the Van Allen belt, the radiation belt there, we don't have the technology to get man through that radiation belt to reach the moon. But sure, yeah, how did we reach the moon in 1969? You know what I mean? How did we get to the moon? How do we put men on the moon if they can get... Oh, because they had no knowledge of the radiation belt. So them being ignorant to the radiation belt got them through once and back again, twice. So them no knowledge made them survive through a tin can, going through space, going forward, then back again to the radiation belt. Because they had no knowledge of it, it didn't affect them, right? They lived at good ages, Neil Armstrong and them. Does that make any damn sense at all? When you just use common sense, and you know, that doesn't make sense. You say, well, we had the technology 60 years ago, but we don't today. It's lost. The damn space shuttle, okay, it's like so complex. There's tens of thousands of moving parts on that thing. All of them have to work in conjunction together to make that space vehicle work perfectly. And that's just going to orbit. So you're going to tell me a little rocket with a tin can going to the moon, made it through safely to the Van Allen's belt several times. Nobody got hurt from it. Successful missions there and back, many of them, but you lost that technology. When your cell phone, the cell phone I'm on, has more technology than all the Apollo spacecraft put together. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's the only thing I question about NASA, and I do question the legitimacy of Neil Armstrong planting the flag on the moon. And I'm not saying we haven't been to the moon. I'm not. I'm just saying that particular event, it was staged. Hundreds of movies with the cartoons involved always show the same set, the same exact set layout of where the CIA filmed the whole space, the moon landing. And I really do believe that moon landing was fake. Okay, it was a ploy by the CIA to bankrupt Russia because Russia was heading to the moon. They had everything going right to head to that moon, and they didn't want the Russians up there. So they staged this whole operation, this whole gig, this whole plot to say we landed on the moon. Now, again, I'm not saying we haven't been to the moon. I don't know. But that was fake, I know that. Well, I'm going to get off this. But if you see all the disinformation out there, and disinformation agents by these George Soros think tanks, that down to the local levels. I mean, somebody that can work in your city hall, the smallest town in your state, you would never suspect it. That could be some kind of an informant or think tank from Soros. Somewhere down along that little Nazi rat line, working for the same people, getting funded by the same people. Why do we have armies? Yeah, that's the other thing too, Mark. The armies, like that's an exact good point right there. And people need to question that too. Now, regardless if you believe in the flat earth or the round earth or whatever, okay, you really need to question that. Mark is 100% right. Why there are armies like United Nations and all that protecting the North and South Pole? I mean, you can't even go near there with a 10-foot pole. You need special permission now to go on expeditions and all that stuff. And even that, you're only restricted to certain areas. The North Pole and the South Pole are more heavily guarded than Fort Knox, and that's a fact. And Mark, you're right on that. And so if they're not hiding nothing, what the hell, why are they blocking off the polar caps for? I mean, Antarctica, I'm sorry. Why is Antarctica being blocked off for? I don't know, that's a good question. That was, I remember seeing that video, and that was weird. Then they try to explain something with rocket, something with the rocket and jet fuel. I've never, all the rocket, I mean, I was a huge fan of NASA and everything. When I was young, I always wanted to be an astronaut and all that. I've seen countless space shuttle launches, rocket launches and all that. Never in my life have I ever seen anything like the SpaceX rocket, that thing. I think it did open up a portal. And it really did. And I don't know. That's crazy, man. That was nothing I've ever seen before. And they try to explain it with some BS, but I don't buy that for a minute. And I don't know, man. That's crazy. But yeah, that was something interesting, the SpaceX launch. But you're right about the North and South Pole. Why are they putting armies up there to stop people up there and down there to stop people from going there? It's insane, really is. If you got nothing to hide, why is it more guarded than Fort Knox? That's the question. You know what I mean? Anyway, guys, I'm gonna get going here, but for real this time. But hit me up at TruthRadioShow.com. Thank you all for tuning in, and again, we need to work together. All right, God bless, and we'll see you tomorrow night.